Ooh, I gotta try to get the chat. Let's see if we can get the chat back again.
Hey, Martin. First in the building tonight. Hey, baby. Hey, Bulldog Raider. Jordan Ford. Trey B. Hooligan Nation. Oh. Raider Lorian. Oh my gosh, they're just flying in, pal.
Love it.
Hey, Richard Hardy. Hey, Yoshi with a $20 donation to the One Nation Foundation.
What's up, Yoshi?
Says weekly therapy session.
Hell yeah.
Hey, Jay Boulevard, Robert Pena, JS Raider. Vibrator.
What's up, baby?
Says, sup, you freaks.
Yes, she did.
It's true.
All right, here we go. It's episode number 362 of Raiders Fan Radio.
What's up, guys? Hey, it's Mike Garofalo, NFL Network here in the home office, and you are listening to the Raiders Fan Radio podcast, taking that lighter journey into the dark side with Murf, Swag Jeff, and Michelle. She's got great hair. It's a little pink, it's a little purple, whatever it is. I'll tell you what, if I could grow it, I would sign up for that color today. So listen to her and the entire crew as they give you all the information on the Raiders on the podcast that benefits the One Nation Foundation. It's a great cause. It's a great pod. Tune in, turn it up. Here it comes. All that Raiders info and takes coming at you right now.
Jackpot, baby. Raiders Fan Radio.
Oakland, LA, Oakland, Vegas, Raider Nation, wherever, forever. You got your old Uncle Mosh and Raiders Fan Radio from Murf's Man Cave, taking a lighter journey into the dark side. Sit back, put your feet up, pop a top, and enjoy the ride. Here we go!
Look left, look right, Koleknikov, a leaping pass, touchdown!
We miss you, we love you, and we'll see you in the Hall of Fame.
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.
Way up the middle, intercepted Filipiano at the 50, time running down, Oakland football, and I think Oakland victory.
The Oakland Raiders have scored on the most zany, unbelievable, absolutely play. Well, I love this team. I think this team.
You are listening live to Raiders Fan Radio. Guys,
Why? Thank you, Brett Musburger. What is up, Raider Nation? Your buddy Murf back once again for what we trust will be a fantastic episode of Raiders Fan Radio. Episode number 362, coming to you live from the cabin in the woods, I guess is where we're at.
Nice.
Yeah, out here in the middle of nowhere where we're piping in internet. We got to truck it in. Jeff had to bring it in on the back of his truck because the internet's so bad out here.
Yeah, he did.
But I think... for those of you that give a shit, I think we've got the internet situation at least a little bit figured out. We tweaked some settings on this thing, and I think we're going to be able to come to you without any interruption, any hiccups. But if we get a few, it's literally because we're in the middle of nowhere. It takes Michelle an hour to get out here for crying out loud. So we appreciate all of those of you that are joining us live tonight here at Raiders Fan Radio, where you can find us each and every week at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern at youtube.com/Raiders Fan Radio, or you can find us on your favorite audio podcast service just by searching Raiders Fan Radio, where according to the podcast charts, y'all, we are number 2. We are number 2 on the list of Raiders podcasts.
What?
Not like
where?
Like on Podchaser, I think was the one that I saw. You have to subscribe to the thing and you see whatever.
Hell
Thank you,
yeah.
Podchaser.
Yeah, thanks for Podchaser. Yeah, so in terms of the Raiders podcasting community, not videos. In videos, we get dominated. Guys like Wasted and Graphic and all those guys, they have way bigger followings than we do. But in terms of audio podcast, we're doing pretty good there.
Nice.
Also, thank you for all of those of you that are joining us on the audio podcast services. You can also ask your internet-connected device to play Raiders Fan Radio, and it will do that. And so we appreciate everybody listening in that way as well. And we appreciate your support, not only the financial support that you give us, like our good buddy Yoshi.
Hey. Respect, Yoshi.
Oh, yeah.
With a $20 donation in there, says this is his weekly therapy session. We appreciate you, Yoshi, so very, very much. And glad to be that. Glad to be the therapy session for Raiders fans. And we appreciate you joining and that donation. It's going to go and support the One Nation Foundation, which is our nonprofit that we decided a handful of years ago. We were going to give away all the money we make with this show to Raiders-related charities, and we do that through the One Nation Foundation. So appreciate all of those of you. And even if you can't support the show monetarily, just hit a like, hit a subscribe, hit a thumbs up, tell your Raider friends about us. Anything that you do to help support that, it helps us generate advertising opportunities, and that raises money for the foundation. And we had a big show last week. We had a lot of folks tapped in, a lot of new folks tapped in.
Sure.
So for all of those of you that are new to the show, thank you for joining us here for Raiders Fan Radio. We appreciate you very, very much. Hope you like it. We're a lighter side journey into the dark side. We take our fandom pretty seriously, but we don't take ourselves very seriously. And so appreciate you joining us. And yeah, stick around. We'll have some fun. So without further ado. Let's go ahead and get to it. First, I'm going to hand it to the man that adorns that side of the poker table. To my right, he is my best friend and yours. He is Swag Jeff.
It's Style and Profile.
What up, Swaggo?
Oh, man, I'm excited to be here. Another week of Raiders Fan Radio, episode 362. And I'm here with my 2 best friends in the whole entire world. So can't thank you guys enough for being here. And yeah, we're gonna have some fun. You know, there's not a whole lot of news right now in Raider Nation. You know, we're kind of, it's this, hurry up and wait kind of thing we got going right now.
Yeah.
But we're gonna make the most of it. We're gonna be talking about some Raider stuff, some Raider history, all that kind of stuff, and we got a little stuff to get off our chest. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna be doing some of that tonight for sure, and we want to hear from you as well in the chat. So Vibrator is in there,
What's up, baby?
Ron the Mater Raider's in there, Martin's in there, El Capitan Rafucho is in there.
Hey, what's up, Cap?
Yeah, Raider Rick is in there, Hooligan Nation, Gladiator Raider, Richard Hardy, Jordan Ford, Kevin Lurker, Paul is in there. My wife is in there. What's up, baby? Let's see, Raider Lorian in there. Yeah, we got the whole crew, dude.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, absolutely it is. Silver and Black Today just jumped in. What's up, Scott?
Hey, what's up, Scott?
Hey, Scott, good to see you. And Scott Sweaty is in there. Speaking of the
Hey,
Scots,
there you go.
they must have talked.
Team Scott.
The Scott meeting just got let out, and so they both jumped into Raiders Fan Radio.
Yeah.
So much respect to the both of you. So Murph, we don't do this show alone.
Heck no, thank goodness.
No, we got to class it up around here. So sitting across from me from the poker table right here is the one and only, the lovely Michelle Swag.
Hi, Michelle.
Hey! It's true. There's not a lot going on right now, but Can we just revel in the fact that the Chargers and the Broncos are both out of the playoffs?
Let's
Talk
go.
about that.
Love
One more team to go, and then I can relax and watch the rest of the
Well, yeah.
playoffs play out.
Just one more to
on.
go. We
That
gotta do
was
it.
an epic wild card weekend.
Man, it was.
It was so good
It was.
to watch them both get, and not only to lose, but to just get dog walked.
To get dog
Yes,
like,
come on.
Yes,
come
yes.
on, bro.
That was
like
nice.
that is
That was
so
nice.
good.
That was nice.
Absolutely. Well, appreciate you being here, Michelle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
and speaking of appreciation, we talked about all the different ways that you can support the One Nation Foundation, whether it be monetarily, whether it be by liking and subscribing, sharing, telling your Raider friends, all that stuff. Another thing that you can do, Murph, is that you can become a member of this
what?
channel, a member of Raiders Fan Radio.
what?
A member.
Member, cabrón? Member? You member? Member? You don't member? You member? Member? Shit, you cried a lot. That's remember.
Absolutely. So members. So Matthew Mangus, the one half of the Manguy, is in the building tonight, and he became a member for 11 months. Thank you,
so
Matthew
much.
Mangus. Much respect, my friend. Much respect. So Gladiator Raider in there, Martin in there, Paul, my wife, Chuck Raider in there, Scott Sweaty, Vibrator. Let's see. Lencho jumped into the building, so much
up,
respect
Lencho?
to you. Yeah, for sure. Jordan Ford with a $5 donation to the One Nation Foundation says, I watch three
thank you.
live shows a week, and each YouTube channel has a loyal subscriber named Paul, which is awesome. I said, excited for the show tonight, guys. So much respect to you, Jordan Ford. And Chef B has become a member for 19 months.
Oh, my gosh.
He says, hey, family, RFR and Nation, what's up? What's up to you, Chef B? And much respect. Can't thank you enough, because all of that, I think it's $5 a month.
Yeah.
You become a member here at Raiders Fan Radio, and all that money goes to the One Nation Foundation. So, Murph, I don't think you really talked about who we support as far as the One Nation Foundation goes. We donate to several Raider-related charities like Max Crosby, like Raider Dad, like Bolitnikoff. Michelle, tell us a little bit about some of those charities that we support and what that means.
Okay, so one of the big ones is Raider Dad,
Yes.
and it allows a parental figure or guardian to take a kid with them to a Raiders game. Maybe it's their first game they've ever seen, or and it gives them the opportunity. They do the tailgate for the kids, and like
Yes.
they always have kind of fun stuff for them. So it gives them the chance to sort of bond over seeing a Raiders game. Another we've given to the Max Crosby Foundation.
Yes.
And the Bolitnikoff Foundation is kind of our biggest one, and they have a place called Tracy's Place of Hope, which gives women in domestic violence situations a chance to get to safety and remember who they are, and have a safe space to take care of themselves. And they do job skills. They do like just a lot of things for them that helps them sort of just remember the person that they were before they got into the domestic violence situation.
Yeah.
And it gets them to safety.
It's incredible.
It
It's
is.
incredible. And both of these foundations, both the Bolitnikoff and the and Raider Dad, they're blowing up.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
Yeah.
just getting bigger and bigger. I mean, Josh from Raider Dad has, he's gotten finally gotten recognized by the Raiders.
Finally.
They did a piece on him, which was absolutely incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So much respect. We couldn't support these charities through the One Nation Foundation without the generous folks like you, like Matthew Mangus, who just jumped in and said, Ben Johnson to Las Vegas, but Lions are my pick for the Super Bowl, with a $50 donation to the One Nation Foundation. Come on, Matthew. Can't thank you enough, my friend.
Matthew just got paid.
I was just thinking, it must be payday for Matthew.
Appreciate you, Matthew Mangus. And yes, 100% of that money will go to Raiders-related charities. And we thank you so very, very much. The Mangus brothers have had our back for a long, long time, man.
They're like some day ones.
There's some day
are.
ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Daniel and Matthew Mangus, man, we appreciate you guys so very, very much. And Matthew, thank you for that incredibly kind donation. And thank you to all the very kind donations that have come in already tonight. We appreciate you very, very much. All right. Let's go ahead and get to some talk about the Raiders, huh?
Yeah, you want to do that? You want me to tell you about the episode number?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
we have segments around here.
We do.
Yeah.
We do, man.
So
So, yes.
let's take our, well, you tell them.
Okay, well, so each and every week I take a significant moment within Raider Nation, relate it back to our episode number with the help from our good friend T-Hom, who is the assistant to the assistant to the assistant of episode numbers. And we've got a good one for you tonight. It's episode 362, so we're going to go back and look at the...
How far are you going back?
Way back.
And it goes a little something like this. Hit it!
So we are going to look at the Raider careers of 3 different players who all have one thing in common. The first, of course, is Raider cornerback Anthony Dorsett, who played with the Raiders from 2000 to 2003. He had 2 interceptions, which he returned for 65 yards. He scored 2 touchdowns, and he had 21 passes defended. The second player is tight end Zach Miller.
Nice. Love Zach Miller.
Love Zach Miller, man. So from 2007 to 2010, he caught 226 passes for 2,712 yards and 12 touchdowns.
Beast.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And the third player, who is more recent, that is linebacker Nick Morrow, who played from 2017 through 2020. He had 185 tackles, 4 sacks, 2 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, and 20 passes defended. These are the 3 players for the Raiders: Anthony Dorsett, Zach Miller, and Nick Morrow. All 3 played for exactly 62 games for their respective Raider careers. Hence, 362.
Whoa, let's go, T-Hom.
Come on,
so
T-Hom.
creative.
He is. Yeah,
I
you know
love
what?
it.
When the episode numbers get that much higher, you got to get
Gotta
creative.
get
So
creative.
yeah, so
I
much
love
respect to T-Hom, and yeah, respect to those 3 Raiders.
Absolutely. Wow, more and more creative as he goes along. That's incredible, man. Great stuff there from T-Hom. And man, yeah, Zach Miller, man, what a sadly career cut short because of injury. And then also, you know, Al letting him walk and go, I believe it was Al. Yeah, it was Al. Let him walk and go to the freaking Seahawks, which sucked. But man, when that guy was firing on all cylinders at his prime, Zach Miller was an absolute beast, man. I mean, for that short window that he played for the Raiders, such a stud. And that's, you know, speaking of tight ends, like we don't have a freaking generational one now, but with the legacy of tight ends for the Raiders is huge.
It's epic.
It's epic, man. It's epic. And Zach could have been an all-timer, man. Unfortunately, it didn't happen out that way. But all right, appreciate all of those of you, Raider Nation. Let's go ahead and hit some contact info. And then I got an idea.
Oh, okay.
Well, not a great idea. I was going to say let's talk about the Raiders, but not quite yet. We're going to give some respect first.
Oh, let's do that.
Woo!
Woo!
Woo! Hey, Raider Nation, you got your old Uncle Mosh here with an updated contact info. So sit up, zip up, shut up, and pay attention. You can call us at 909-345-3346, or as Murf would say it,
909-345-3346.
How about emailing me? You want to email me? Email me at show@RaidersFanRadio.com. Or what about reaching out to us on some of that social media stuff Swaggy likes? Try Facebook at Raiders Fan Radio Podcast. The Twit at
Twitter
at Raiders Fan Radio. Insta something. Instagram at Raiders Fan Radio. The
Ticky-tock.
TikTok
R.I.P.
at Raiders
Man.
Fan Radio. Or what about the Twitch?
Somebody out there twitching.
Anyway, Twitch at Raiders Fan Radio. Or if you don't like that, go to the YouTube.
America, go to the YouTube.
YouTube.com/Raiders Fan Radio. Oh my God, if that wasn't enough, go to your podcast provider and search Raiders Fan Radio. Holy crap, that was a lot.
Good.
Oh,
Nice.
let's go.
Nice,
Nicely
nice,
done.
nice.
Nicely done. Nicely done. Hey, you know, so Swag Jeff, I was giving you a lot of shit about your, well, not a lot of shit. I was giving you some
were?
shit about your hoodie today.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't know, it's, you know, it's got a lot going on there with that and with the placement of that stuff. On the show,
It's
it looks
sharp.
fantastic.
Hell yeah,
Ah,
it does.
perfect.
Because your logos straddle the microphone.
Yep, it is
Hey.
perfect.
Hey, easy.
Tell me about your life. But yeah, dude, it looks good on here.
Oh, thanks,
You need to
pal.
wear that more often.
Okay, deal.
Done. All right,
Deal.
done. Absolutely.
Respect the
And
Fashion
same thing with
Nova.
Michelle's
That's
too.
right.
Because your logo was off center,
Wait,
so
what's
it
this
shows
say?
up there. That's
Hey.
awesome. Only my dumbass wore something that gets covered by the microphone all the
You
time.
big stupid.
Golly.
But you can find this hoodie at TeePublic. And you can go to so did you see the I want to give well here we're going to give respect. I got another I'm going to add 2 respects.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Murf, Swaggy J, Nation, it's time for a little respect. You know, respect ain't bought, it ain't sold, it ain't demanded, it ain't negotiated, it's earned. And without blowing smoke or giving shameless plugs, we want to say salute and much respect to the following folks.
We need a GM and a head coach. Well, yeah, we need everything, bruh. We need a quarterback. We got an owner. Fucking thing. Tired of it, Grandpa? It's too damn bad. You keep digging.
I have no idea what you guys are doing, but I'm here for it. I love it. Oh my!
That was great. That was great.
Man. All right, so actually, I got 3, but I'm gonna.
Holy cow.
Yeah, I got 3. Another one just popped into my head too. So here at the top of the show, we don't do props, we don't do shout outs. There's nothing wrong with those things, but we're Italian. We like to give a little bit of respect. So let's give respect to our buddy Graf. It's his birthday today.
Happy birthday.
Happy
my
birthday.
friend.
Happy birthday to Graphic Raider. Appreciate you. Next up, I want to give respect to Marcus Parkhill on the Twitters, on the X there, as the kids call it.
Okay.
He sent a tweet here, and I can't show it to you, but I can show you my phone. All right, there you can see.
Oh, yeah.
All right. And he says, new shirt arrived today. Hell yeah. And then tag me and Raiders Fan Radio. Once a Raider, always a Raider. So appreciate your support of the show by ordering from TeePublic. Because everything that you order, like this hoodie that I'm wearing, everything that you order from TeePublic, 100% of that money goes to the One Nation Foundation. So if you want some new Raider gear, then go check out the stuff over there at Raiders Fan Radio. We got a lot of fun designs, and
We do. We've had to take a couple down.
we've gotten copyright infringement a couple of times.
That and they don't play for us anymore or coach for us anymore.
Oh, right.
I just took down the AP one like the other day.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
It was a really
man.
good
Man,
shirt.
it was.
That was a
good
good
shirt.
one. We were rooting for that one, but
Wonder what kind of car Ben Johnson drives. We're gonna make a shirt with a Toyota Camry on the front of it or some shit like that.
somebody find out what John Spytek drives real quick
Yeah,
before we
right.
hire him. Yeah,
Right.
Appreciate that. So very much the support of Raiders Fan Radio through the TeePublic. But my third one here, and this is a good one, and this is the one, man. This I tell you. So we do the Sea of Fans mailbag. For those of you that are new to the show, we hear from you at the end of the show because more of you and less of us is a good thing. So we always jump into the Sea of Fans mailbag where you send us your incredible emails. You send us your incredible voicemails. And sometimes you email us a voicemail. And we got one so good this week that I want to play this here at the top of the show.
Wow.
So I want to give respect to our buddy Martin in the UK. Now, listen, man, for those of you that have been around this show a hot minute, you know that the maidest of the made men around here, on the very, very short list, is Paul over in the UK. And the UK representation, especially in England, the representation here at Raiders Fan Radio is so freaking awesome. These two guys have become to epitomize what it is to send emails and voicemails. I mean,
Yes.
it's just...
They've set the bar.
They've
They have
set
set
the
the
bar,
bar.
and that's not an indictment on anybody else. And we love all your interaction, and please keep that coming because that's the best. That's why this show's called Raiders Fan Radio. But listen, man, some things stand out, and when you listen to the voicemail that Martin sent us this week, it is absolutely incredible. So I kind of made a joke around his voice is so cool. I'm like, I would just love to hear this guy read us Tolkien.
Oh, yes.
Well, guess what he did?
Hell yeah.
Listen to this, Michelle.
This, said the gnarled old wizard Gan Murf, gesturing towards a sour-faced dwarf, is Grudin Oakland Shield, and he needs our help in recovering his old job and his emails. From the evil dragon, Smosh. There was an audible gulp from the diminutive, hairy-footed creature beside him. Ganmurf pressed on. What do you say, young Swaggo Swaggins? Well, if you'll stop interrupting me, the lad replied with a sigh. I'd have to say, you shall not pass, cried Ganmurf, striking the ground with a small yellow flag. Why the heck not? Implored the elfin beauty, Galad Michelle. Brock Bowers is free in the end zone. By the way, thanks for the heads up about beef. It's never occurred to me to eat beef before, but from now on, I'll try and eat as much of it as I can. If only there were some easily available sources of beef ready to eat when I'm out and about. Wouldn't that be wild? Maybe some enterprising entrepreneurs will pick up on it eventually. Imagine that. Beef. Anyway, the hope is real for getting Ben Johnson as our new head coach, and therefore a good new quarterback. Look at how Washington have been transformed since last season's 4-13, getting Dan Quinn and Jaden Daniels, and now being in the last 8 with a shot at the Lions. Who's to say that as soon as this time next year, that couldn't be us? Go Raiders.
Oh my gosh.
Holy cow. That might be an all-timer.
Yeah, I mean, Mike.
That's an all-timer right there.
That's an all-timer right there.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, that was incredible. That was perfect. I'm gonna go home and re-listen to that because that was hilarious.
Wasn't that great?
So good.
The music in the background, the production quality was absolutely fantastic, Martin. Thank you so much for taking the time to do that because that's not easy, man. Putting those kind of things together. Being a guy that does audio all the time, I kind of understand the investment of that, and so appreciate you taking the time to do that, Martin. That was great, man. Keep them coming.
Swaggo
Heck
Swaggins.
yeah.
Right?
Swaggo Swaggins. That one freaking got me, man.
Yep.
And Galad Michelle, they're so great.
Oh
You know
my
what I mean?
So good.
Yeah, so good. So thank you, Martin, and appreciate that and much respect. All right, let's go ahead and hit a break, Swag Jeff, and then I got an idea.
Okay.
Let's talk about the Raiders.
Oh, nice.
Not a bad idea.
Hey, what's up? It's Brockman from The Rich Eisen Show.
And it's Del Tufo from The Rich Eisen Show.
You're listening to Murf and Mosh on Raiders Fan Radio. Yes!
Hey Raider Nation, this is Max Crosby from the Oakland Raiders.
And goes down, and Max Crosby, who forced a fumble last week.
You're listening to Murf, Mosh, and Swag Jeff on Raiders Fan Radio. Thank you so much. Just win, baby.
All right, so here we are, and we are knee deep now in the offseason for us because we can't make the playoffs. And so as we're watching the rest of our division play in the playoffs, but as you mentioned, Michelle, at least two of them got their ass kicked. So now we got to hope that the freaking Houston Texans have a prayer in this next game. I mean, I don't know how much of a shot they got. I mean, you'd like to think that there would be an upset to be had, but that's a tall task,
Did you see that the ref that is ref in the game, the Kansas City Chiefs have never lost when he's the ref?
No, I didn't see that.
I don't know how true that is, but I did see that on X, so I don't know.
Well, it must be
Chime
true.
in, chat. Oh, that's what I thought. It's
Gotta
on
be
X,
true.
it's gotta be true.
I'm sure most people can say that about their different officiating crews.
Yeah.
That's one thing they all got in common.
Yeah, they all take care of the damn Chiefs. That's for sure, man. Unbelievable the way that the calls have been going for the Chiefs this season, and I don't see it slowing down. Frankly, it ain't gonna happen. Do we think? Okay, so I know we're all gonna root for it, but before we get into the Raiders side of the thing, let's kind of close out. At least not close it out, but let's talk a little bit about this postseason.
Okay.
That was a fun wild card weekend, as you guys mentioned. Like that was a blast.
It was great.
I'm nervous for this game for the Texans. I mean, I know Nico Collins is great, and CJ Stroud, I think, really, anybody that was critical of CJ Stroud in this last game, I'm sorry, I don't get it, man. What we always say around here, great players aren't always great, but they're great when they have to be. And when that dude had to be great in that game, he was. And so, I don't understand that criticism. They've got a defense. I don't know if they can keep up, man. They're just the firepower of that Chiefs team is bananas. So I don't want to assume because it makes an ass out of you and me, but should the Chiefs move on from this weekend, if they got the Bills or the Ravens, right? Like that, I hate that those two teams are playing each other.
Me
that
too.
needs to be an AFC Championship
me
game.
too. I hate
Right?
that. They're, yeah. Yes.
I hate that.
I hate
Yeah,
it.
that
hate
needs
that.
to be an AFC Championship game.
I think, though, that if it came down to it, the Bills, I think, got to, well, see, I say that. I would say that the Bills have a better shot just because you got the Josh Allen factor. But then what wins in the postseason, still, even to this day, with as much as the NFL has changed, you play good defense and you run the ball. Well, shit, the Ravens are going to be able to do that better than the Bills.
Yeah.
You know what? But that said, it's not like James Cook sucks. James Cook is phenomenal for
he's
the
great.
Bills. He's great. And do they have enough? So I don't know. You guys, I mean, until we get to unfortunately, maybe the Lions, because the Lions can definitely do that.
Yeah.
Lions play defense with anybody, and they can run the
And
shit
they
out
got
of
a
the football.
two-headed monster in the backfield.
Come on. That's what I'm
Yep.
saying. So, I think they're built more to beat the Chiefs. But do you see any world where either the Ravens or the Bills, and I don't want to just gloss the freaking Texans. I'm sorry, Texans fans, but none of you are listening to this anyways. But I hate to just blow them off, but it's that feels like it's too tall of an order. Do you feel like that too? And do you think what's a realistic shot for the Ravens or Bills here, Swag Jeff?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, I don't imagine there being much of a shot for the Texans at all. But my Super Bowl pick at the beginning of the season, or not at the beginning of this postseason, was Bills and Lions. That's who
Dude,
I've got.
That would be dream.
That's a dream Super Bowl. Just for as a fan of football.
Yes,
because
and that's why.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you got two teams that have never won the big one, two totally different circumstances. The Bills, who have been a billion times in the 90s
four
and
in a
never
row.
never won, and then the Lions, who have never been at all. So that would be an absolute dream matchup.
Is
So-
that if you had to pick two, Michelle, is that the two you would pick?
Yeah,
That you would want to see?
I'd like to see the Bills and Lions, but I think that the Ravens and the Bills can both beat the Chiefs. I think either one of them has the capability. Okay, I don't want to put on my tinfoil hat, but I do wonder how the Chiefs are gonna get put out. It just feels like they have so much of not just momentum, but they got the whole, I don't know, Taylor Swift thing happening.
The
and they have,
Kelsey thing
the
is
whole
obnoxious.
Kelsey factor. Yeah,
And I don't mean just Travis.
no,
all
of
the
it.
Kelseys.
All
I'm
of
over
it.
all the Kelseys
All
at
of
this
it.
point.
Yeah. And so I don't know. I think they both are better teams. And I know the Kansas City Chiefs are a good team. I'm not saying that they're not capable of winning, but I just think that the Bills and the Ravens both can't. The Texans, I don't think the Texans are going to beat. Now, which would be amazing if they
That
did.
would be incredible.
Golly, that would really settle my whole season.
Right.
But
yeah.
I don't think it's gonna happen. But I don't know. I just am sick of the Chiefs, and I think I'd be sick of them even if they weren't in our division. I'm just sick of them, and so anyone that can take them out, take them the fuck out.
Well,
it's like the Patriots back
I was
in the.
just gonna say, dude.
It was
That's where I was going with it, too.
They became the team that everybody loved to hate.
Yeah.
Because they just won constantly. It
Yeah.
was just like, come on, man, can we give someone else a shot
Yeah.
here? Can we
Yeah.
do something different here? Respect to Tom Brady because he's one of us now.
Sure.
But I couldn't stand that freaking guy. Holy cow! Because that's all he
got
does is
boring
win,
to
win,
watch.
win. Yeah.
It just wasn't football. Wasn't as fun because it was like you kind of knew where it was headed, and
Exactly.
so why watch if you kind of know where it's headed? So
I'm a little older than you guys, but for me, that was the Niners.
Oh,
It was the Niners.
yeah.
It was
Sure.
they and then when they reconfigured divisions and they added a freaking expansion team, the Carolina Panthers, they put them in the Niners division. The Niners were literally 8-0 because it was them, the Falcons, the Seahawks. Was the Seahawks back then? I can't remember. And then but anyways, it was there were 4 bad teams in the division. And so it was they're automatically going to go undefeated in their division. And then all they got to do is win 2 more games. And God forbid they win 3 or 4 more games. And then they got a first round bye. It was like clockwork. It was every year. It was God dang. And of course, back then I was living in California and watching, the slander against the Raiders and you know what I mean? Constantly. And that was even before the Raiders came back. So they were still in LA. And so it was just I watched the Niners kind of take over the Bay Area for the most part in terms of fandom. And it just drove me nuts. And it was like, I'm sick of these fucking guys. Like, can we watch someone else? Can the Cowboys, can you take them out one more time, please? And it's like, and I know they did a couple of times, but the freaking Niners ran an entire decade, just like the Patriots did, and people got sick of it, man. So I'm with you, dude. And that's where I feel like with the Chiefs too, Michelle, like I'm so on board with that idea that it's not just about they're in our division and their most hated team that most of us have within Raider Nation. I mean, clearly that's the case, and so there's going to be a bias involved. But just like, God dang it, show us something new. I feel like the marketing machine of the NFL is brilliant. It just is. It's always has been, and it always will be. Because it's so brilliant, that's where I'm at times, my tinfoil hat goes on too, Michelle, and I'm like, come on. I'm like earlier in the season when we saw some of the calls going the Chiefs' way and the way that they're winning games, and it's like, you know, you don't want us fans to have these conspiracy theories and get all this credit. Well, then stop shit like this from happening.
Then let them lose.
Then let them get the calls right. At a minimum, get the fixable things fixed. And then we won't, because it's like, it's miraculous that it's, and I know Chiefs fans will be like, well, it's not always ours. Look, it happens to other teams too. Yeah, but if you can't own the idea that it happens more frequently for your team than it does us, then I'm sorry, then you're not living in reality.
Yeah.
Right.
Just like we can identify with the idea that calls typically in the most crucial of times will work against the Raiders. And it's not just because I'm sensitive to it. It's because that's the reality of it. That's the way that this shit has gone down for 40 years. Like, it just is. And so whether there was a conspiracy behind it or a reason or Walt Coleman didn't like Al Davis or any of the, the refs that freaking blew the Rob Lytle non-fumble call or the freaking not calling it on Tony Saragusa when he blew up Rich Gannon's shoulder. Like, whatever the reasons are, doesn't matter. The reality of it is that it happens to us. The Immaculate Deception happened to us. It didn't happen to the Bengals. It didn't happen to the freaking Chiefs, right? Like, and so right now the Chiefs are getting the benefit of the calls. And if you're a fan out there, a Chiefs fan, you're not watching this either. But for Chiefs fans that you interact with, for them to not at least own that, be like, hey, look, yeah, we're getting superstar treatment and we're okay with it. Fine. I mean, I would be.
Yeah.
If we had a Tom Brady level quarterback that was getting calls. Sorry about you. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
But it's never happened for us. And now it's happened for the goddamn Chiefs. It pisses me off, Jeff.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So let's talk about the Raiders, huh?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, let's talk about the Raiders. So Fox Sports came out with the list, right?
Wait, not yet. Let's talk about the current stuff first.
Oh, current stuff.
Yeah, let's do current.
Okay, well, what do you want to talk about for current?
I want to talk about, I'm going to kick us off with this. All right.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah. So check this out. This is, where am I at here? Okay, here we go. This is Tom Brady. No, Tom Brady. It's about Tom Brady. It's Adam Schefter on with Pat McAfee talking about Tom Brady and the current environment around the Raiders hiring process. Okay?
Okay.
On Tom Brady has been? Is that true? Is that real?
Hands-on. I don't think he's been very hands-on at all so far.
Not in the interview process? Tom Brady's not involved in the interview process?
He is involved in the, but it just got underway. How can we even say that he's too hands-on? And by the way, like, isn't that why you brought in Tom Brady to be involved? Like, I don't understand. That's why you included him in your ownership group and made him a part of the process, is to have him involved. And like, we're getting underway with an initial wave of it. He's already too involved. Like, what did he do in virtual interviews that he's too involved? Like that.
Got it. So he is, though, very involved in the hiring process. That we all agree.
He is. Very. He is involved. He owns a piece of the team. He's Tom Brady. He's doing he's doing work the way he would. I don't know who involved. Very involved. He's involved. Like, he's Tom Brady.
I love that sentiment there from Schefter. We're like, yeah, he's involved. And anybody that's been critical around that, here's what I wonder.
Who said critical?
See, and I think it might be coming outside of our fan base, Michelle.
Okay. I'm like, who the hell's critical of that?
Right? That's exactly. Like, why would that be a criticism to have Tom Brady too involved? So clearly Tom is part of the mix. But I think what I want to kick off the discussion here around a lot of the stuff around Tom is that we talked about it the other show. It might have even been last week. And Scott, our buddy Scott Gilbranson at Silver and Black Today, put out a great article on Sportsnaut. You can go out there and check it out. And it's about the impact of Tom Brady. And this is something that I was kind of pleading with fans a little bit here, or listeners, anybody else, like over the past couple of weeks, is that don't underestimate Tom Brady's influence. Don't underestimate the impact this guy is going to have. And this idea that, the Raiders are just going to Raider this thing in this offseason. It's just going to be what we've always done. I'm just waiting for them to screw up and all that. I don't think you understand the level of impact that Tom Brady is going to have on this team based on the idea that talent is going to gravitate to him. Coaching is going to gravitate to him. Players are going to gravitate to him. You understand, this is like arguably the greatest football player, let alone quarterback, greatest football player we've ever seen. And it's a short list. It's Jim Brown, it's Jerry Rice, it's Tom Brady, just to give a few examples. That arguably the greatest that we've ever seen. You don't think people want to be a part of that? Of course they do. And so the dysfunction around the Raiders, unfortunately, over the past handful of years, is not going to be enough to deter talent coming to this team. Anybody that's been following the reports around Ben Johnson, that alone tells you all you need to know. He had 3 teams that weren't the Raiders on his interview list. And the Tom Brady impact, Michelle, is what got him to interview and is now, thank goodness, not going to get our eggs in one basket yet, but thank goodness he's the leading candidate for this football team. But it's going to go beyond even just this search and this hire. People are going to want to be around Tom and that influence. I don't think it's ever, other than Al, I don't think anything's ever come close.
Yeah, it's interesting. If Tom Brady was in any other front office or whatever you want to call it, the fans would be so happy for him to have whatever input he wants to have in that organization. I don't understand how you have him in the building and you wouldn't want to glean every bit of knowledge that he can give to whatever it is you're trying, the general manager, the head coach, the quarterback, whatever it is. Him being the GOAT is going to play huge in whether somebody, because you got to think, why does the Raiders, it doesn't even really look like a play, we have the 6th pick, are we going to have a quarterback? Why would a head coach want to pick the Raiders? That would be one of the top reasons, probably, because you have to look at it and think there is a plan. There has to be a plan. Tom Brady's not just going to be whatever, he's going to have an input, and I think it's going to be a quality input.
And he's going to demand the highest levels of that output from anybody that's going to join. And I think, Jeff, that is another thing that gets unnoticed, is that Tom Brady was great, but he wasn't great because he was the most athletic guy or you know what I mean? Or just he
cerebral.
Put in cerebral as hell and put in a shit ton of work. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason he was drafted in the 6th round.
Yeah.
And so that level of work ethic and that level of greatness that he is going to demand, he's going to demand out of everyone else that's going to come along and be in his sphere. I think that's why Mark Davis was so comfortable going okay, here, you do it. And we didn't know and we didn't even know this as of last week, what the level of influence was going to get, because the Raiders haven't made a press release or whatever. They haven't said here's his title or what. We didn't know. I was even speculating I wonder what this guy's going to do at all. He could be a silent partner and just sit idly by, Michelle. Mm-hmm. That's not, Tom Brady is not a sit idly by kind of guy.
No.
That he's going to have his fingerprints all over this thing. And we already know that Mark Davis is really willing to relinquish control because we've seen him do it with other people, let alone the GOAT. So I just think that this thing, Jeff, even if it's not buttoned up this year in terms of level of success, having his influence and having the prospect of him, I think, speculation, eventually taking over the organization.
Yeah.
I think it's going that way. Or
he
at least,
will be the heir.
Or at least his ownership group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Tom as head of said ownership group, the managing general partner, shout out Al Davis. I think that could go this direction with this guy.
Yeah, 100%. Well, to your point earlier, greatness wants to surround itself with greatness.
Come on.
So if he demands a lot of this, he's going to have, it's obviously we see the effects already. Ben Johnson, who wasn't really that interested in the Raider position, Tom Brady interviews him, and now he's the #1 contender for our job. So, but then, what we were just talking about earlier about not getting calls, not doing all these things. We're going to see a Tom Brady effect, I think, on this as well.
Yeah.
I think, Tom Brady, who is the baby face of the league for 20 years, I think this, we might start seeing a different version of officiating for the Raiders, where everyone has said the NFL hates the Raiders, that, because Al Davis sued them and all this kind of stuff. And, now we're going to see that, well, here's our guy. Here's our face of the league for the last 20 years, just recently retired, went off into the sunset, did all this stuff. Now he's a Raider? Oh, so now we got to give some love to the Raiders, because that's our guy. So, I totally see that happening.
So let me ask you this. So transition a little bit off more onto the search here. I think the majority of Raider fans are leaning towards Ben Johnson. I think that there is a world where it could be Pete Carroll. I think that name carries a lot of weight. Guys won Super Bowls. You know what I mean? Or Super Bowls or just one? You just win one with Seattle?
One.
Just the one with Seattle, yeah. So, but Ben in 2, right? Because they lost one? Yes. And so I think that there's a world where you could see something like that go down should Ben Johnson turn down the job. But I think that he's a leader in the clubhouse, clearly. And all the reports are telling us that it's going that way, too, right? So, is he your guy? And I kind of already know the answer to this question. Your guy, and then when it comes to general manager, I really dig the John Spytek angle because he was teammates with Tom in '99 at Michigan, and he's been with the Bucs or he's been in the NFL at least for 20 some odd years or whatever.
Yeah.
Dude's had a ton of front office experience, and look at the teams that those Buccaneers have built. Like I even had somebody on X ask me. Someone on X asked me, did he have a hand in getting Tom there to begin with? And I'm like, sure he did. Of course. So. Why wouldn't he? If you're a freaking teammate of the guy and you've got a relationship that goes back to 1999, like, of course you would. So
sure.
I think that guy's influence is because they were a pretty good team before, too. If you think about it, like the teams they had with Jameis and all that kind of stuff, like they were built. Like those were great football teams. And all it took was insert Tom Brady and you win a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So like I kind of like the idea of Spytek and Ben Johnson.
That's my pick.
Is that your pick too?
Yeah, that's 100% my it's 100% my pick. I think, ushering in these new age guys, and I know the Spytek has been around for a long time, but it just is an assistant GM, right?
Right, yeah.
He's never had the big boy. He's never had the big boy job. So I think bringing in a guy like that with that an unbelievable offense or mind of a franchise and bringing the right people in and doing all this kind of stuff, I think that's fantastic. And then ushering in this new era of coach and Ben Johnson, this new younger group that has come up that is going to be
offensive.
Is going to be the next Andy Reid. It's going to be the next, Sean Payton. Names that are so reverent to us, especially in our own effing division. Like, this is going to be the next group.
Yeah, I don't have thoughts about general manager because I'm just not keeping up.
Sure.
But head coach, I like Ben Johnson because he's an offensive coordinator. Like I think that is, and then you don't have an offensive coordinator that leaves in a few years. Like he is the guy. Everybody talks about continuity and longevity, and that's what the Raiders are missing. That's what the Raiders are missing. And no offense to Pete Carroll, but he's old, and I'm not saying that old can't get it done, but like I feel
Thank you for saying that. Thank you for clarifying.
I can get it done every now and then.
But
I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I always was.
But I just feel like it's like that same carousel of the same, like, give me something fresh, give me something new. I mean, and like I said, no offense. He's great, but no, thank you.
Yeah, well, you got to build it the way that they were trying to build it with John Gruden.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because say what you will about John, I mean, they had a long-term plan with John, and and we started to see the fruits of it. We started to see progression. Hell, the guy was 5-2 before he was fired, or forced to resign or whatever. And that team did go to the playoffs, So so build this with an offensive mind that knows what the hell he's doing, that knows how to put together a team, and also, add in a guy like, if we get, because I feel like, and the chat is kind of unanimous as well. Like, they're talking, BJ and Spytech is what everyone keeps saying. Like,
Perfect.
that's the move.
That's the move. And I think that, Michelle, you make a crucial point. It's just like when you have an offensive coordinator that's your head coach, it's just a variable that's eliminated.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a lot of value in that. It's kind of like, and I'll make a little bit of a stretch here, but it's like a rookie contract. It's like when you have a rookie quarterback on a contract, it allows you to do so many other things. And by removing variables, it keeps it simpler, right? It makes it easier to achieve because you have less shit that you got to worry about and things to consider. And when your head coach, whether that's John Gruden or that's Andy Reid or Sean McVay or Sean Payton or Mike McCarthy, whatever, you name all the different guys out there that are, calling their Matt LaFleur, that are calling their offenses, they don't have to worry about turnover at that position. Your offensive coordinator, like what Greg Olson was for Gruden, is a de facto assistant. Like all he's doing is helping you break down film, helping you strategize. Like he's not calling plays. And so to remove that from the equation, I think is a very powerful tool. And so I whether it's Ben Johnson or it's Cohen or any other offensive guys, people talk about Todd Monken. People asked us about him last week, and I was ignorant to. I knew he was at Georgia, and I knew he was with the Ravens now, but I didn't really know a ton about Todd Monken. People are asking all the time, like, what about him? Oh, okay. I'd rather that, and obviously Vrabes is gone now, but I'd rather have that Aaron Glenn. Like, no disrespect to Aaron Glenn. He's a great defensive coordinator. He's a defensive coordinator. Don't want any defensive guys, man. Bring us the offensive guy, especially, and then you compound it with the idea we're going to have a young quarterback, hopefully, should the new GM play his cards right. We're going to have a new quarterback, and guess what? He's going to be throwing to generational talent. Let's get somebody that knows this shit in and out to help those guys succeed. Like, to me, like that's Bowers. So speaking of Brock Bowers, speaking of the generational talent, guys, I got some for you. I love to make you guys guess, and I want the chat room to guess as well. Bauer joins 3 other players as the only franchise players in franchise history to be selected All-Pro by the Associated Press in their rookie season. So last week we talked about the Pro Bowlers.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that from the Raiders. These are Associated Press all-time All-Pros in their rookie season. There are 3 of them. If you want clues, I will give you years.
You want to take a stab?
I wouldn't even know where to be. Are they names I'll know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
You and I met one of them.
Oh, no.
Jeff wasn't there. Rest in peace.
Oh, Jim Otto?
Jim Otto.
Oh,
Jim Otto,
okay.
1960.
Oh, wow.
1960. So that was the first AP All-Pro in a rookie season. Jeff, the next one was a guy from the other list from last week.
Yeah, Marcus Allen.
There you go. Bang. Marcus Allen. And then I'll give you the year so you guys have a shot. I love this because I love this guy, but this is a tough one. The year 2000. In the year 2000.
The hell was that from?
Conan O'Brien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Don't stay up that late.
Let's see, 2000.
2000. So this is pre-Super Bowl. This is right in our wheelhouse of kicking ass. Heyday of Gruden, Chucky 1.0.
What position?
No,
Is it going to give it away?
Yeah, but that's okay. I'll give it to you. Punter.
Oh, Shane
Leckler.
Right on.
Shane Leckler. So
Okay.
Brock Bowers joins Jim Otto, Marcus Allen, and Shane Leckler as the only players in franchise history to be selected All-Pro in their AP rookie season.
Nice.
Wow.
We have a
Right on.
Whoops.
Who was talking about you?
Whoops. I'm hitting all the wrong buttons.
Yeah, you are. Hey,
there we go.
you know who's hitting the right buttons tonight?
Oh, come on.
There's some folks in the chat tonight
Do it,
that are hitting the
Swaggo.
right buttons. That so Jordan Ford with a $5 donation says we need to make a shirt that says "I love BJ."
Thank you, Jordan.
Yeah,
Ford.
absolutely. Matthew Mega says Ben Johnson to LV equals Super Bowl with a $10 donation.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see here. Grandmaster JRA with a $2 donation says that Tom Brady is Mark's adopted son.
Nice.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
JRA, that's a good one.
Absolutely. Matthew Mangus with another $10 donation says Ben Johnson plus Spy Tech equals Super Bowl again.
Let's go.
Yeah, for
Thank you,
sure.
brother. Thank you so much.
And then Jason Hunter in there says, hope y'all are having a blessed day. Want to bless the Blitnikoff Foundation a little, but also it's birthday to my guy Graf, so much respect to him as well with a $100 donation to the One Nation Foundation. And I'm seeing a lot of people in the chat also talking about Hendon Hooker, which has got me feeling a certain kind of way.
Do it.
Yeah.
Go
I
ahead.
mean, it's Ben Johnson's guy, man. You know, if you can go BPA in the draft and grab a guy like Hooker and then have Hooker and Aiden O'Connell fight out in the preseason to see who wins the job.
Well, we know who would win the job.
Well, we know who'd win the job, but I'm all in for that, man. And bringing in a guy like that's a backup quarterback that, you know, has the potential to be a starter. You know, I think we can give a second round pick for a guy like Hooker. And then also, you know, he knows Ben Johnson's system. Like, I mean, holy cow. Like, I mean, if Ben comes, I think he brings his guy.
I love that. You know, I don't think, Michelle, there's a way that we're going to get one of the top two guys with the 6th pick. And the second round guys like Jackson Dart and like some of the others, Jalen Milroe and all that. I don't like, is that worth it? Like, is that or if you can look at, all right, if you take your second round pick, because what was Hendon, a third?
Hendon was a third.
So they're making money, right? If the Raiders trade him a second, if your backfield is Ashton Genty, Hendon Hooker, you know what I mean? And then, oh yeah, we got Brock Bowers. Like, all of a sudden, like, there's such a youth movement. And I know Aiden's not an old guy, but like that idea, that prospect, you know, and then like Jacoby Myers is like your freaking KG veteran. Like, holy cow, man! I'm kind of leaning that way. Like, instead of dealing with it in the draft, let's go ahead and trade for a guy before the draft starts, and then you just straight up go BPA.
So I have a question though, and I don't know if this is a dumb question. If the Lions don't win the Super Bowl, does he stay? Like, does he even leave? Does he want to leave?
That's a great question.
Leave that open ended.
There is a huge part of me, Michelle, to answer your question. Huge part of me hopes, for our sake,
that the
Detroit Lions win it all. That way, there's no unfinished business.
Yeah,
I feel like if there's unfinished business, there's a chance for that. Say they get a freaking, bad call in the NFC Championship game. Does he want to go back? You want to run it back again with a healthy team?
Right.
Because they've had so many injuries and shit this year. Like, I mean, he was already flirting with leaving last year. So I think that he's really going to freaking, give it a good look this time and probably go no matter what.
I think so too.
You think so too?
Yeah, I think so too. I think this season was the let's run it back year for Ben Johnson, because he was the one of the number one candidates last year that everyone was talking about.
Who did he turn down? He turned down.
I can't remember. He turned down like a couple different teams,
couple different jobs.
He was doing the same thing, kind of what he's doing now, where he's doing the phone interviews or the Zoom interviews or what have you. And but then they lose the NFC Championship game, and he goes, you know what? Let's run it back. Let's run it back. And so this is that year. So I think that even if they get bounced this weekend, I think he's, and part of me on the opposite side, you're kind of talking about, you guys are talking, well, hopefully he wins the Super Bowl where there's no unfinished business. Yeah. I want to know who my coach is today.
Yeah.
I want to know who my guy is.
That's fair.
So if Ben Johnson gets bounced from the friggin' playoffs, then he can do official interviews and all this stuff on Monday, and he'll be hired by Wednesday where we can have an epic show.
Oh, let's go.
That would be epic.
Do it for RFR.
Come on.
Do it for the plot.
That's right.
Yeah. I appreciate you, Raider Nation, so very, very much. I'm going to give you one last little bit of numbers here. And why is this so important for us? Why? If you ask. Why is this so important for us? Here are the Raiders by the numbers. You ready for this? This ain't pretty. So I'm gonna end this segment on a low note and then take us to break, Swag Jeff. Here's why it's so important we get this shit right with Tom Brady, Ben Johnson, Spy Tech, anybody else that's coming through the damn building. Raiders by the numbers. Been 43 years since our last road playoff win.
Shut.
It's been 40 years since our last Super Bowl win. It's been 21 years since our last AFC West title.
Oh,
I have a child that's 21 years old and has never seen the Raiders win the division.
Same.
13 years since the Raiders had a kick return for a touchdown.
Oh.
Jeez.
How many coaches do you think we've had in the last 21 years, Swag Jeff?
I think it's 13 or 14.
12. It's going to be 13.
Going to be 13.
Michelle, how many winning seasons have we had in the last 21 years?
1.
2.
2.
Count them on 2 fingers. God. That's why this is such a huge crossroad and critical point for our beloved, now Las Vegas Raiders. We've got to get this shit right. It is, they have to be undeniable.
Yeah.
There cannot be, you have to go. We're in Vegas and we're sitting around a poker table. Well, not we're in Vegas. The team's in Vegas and we're sitting around a poker table. Time to shove them all in. Time to push all the chips in and let's get this god dang thing turned around because it's been way too long since we had a competitive football team. And I know we had that blip on the radar in 2021. I know we had the blip on the radar in 2016. That is nothing compared to the dominance that used to be the Oakland or Los Angeles Raiders. So let's get the Las Vegas Raiders right. And they got to get it right now. This is
right
it.
Now.
This is like, I feel like there's so many seasons that we go like, oh, well, this is such a critical time for the Raiders. Critical time for the Raiders. Yeah, but we had a quarterback back then. Or we had a lock-on head coach. Or whatever. Like there are so many things up in the air other than what city we're playing in. That's it. Everything else is up in the air. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 free agents. Unrestricted. We've got $112 million in cap space. Who are you going to sign? Malcolm Kuntz, Trayvon Merrick. You going to make runs at those guys? Is someone else going to make runs at those guys and offer them a deal they can't refuse? So out of those 13 names, Bob Spillane, Divine Diablo, all these guys, we talked about it last week. How many of those guys are coming back? The majority of them won't because someone will offer Trayvon Merrick. By the way, Trayvon Merrick, first safety in team history to record 100-plus tackles, 1 sack, 1 interception, and 10 passes defended in a season. That's since they started in 99 when passes defended were recorded. So you're talking about a team with a rich history at safety. Charles Woodson, anybody?
Yep.
George Atkinson, anybody? Jack Tatum, anybody? Right? You got a rich history of safety. Stuart Schweigert. Shout out the guy Stuart Schweigert. There's so much going on with this team that they have to get right.
And they got to extend Max Crosby. They got to rework his deal.
Come on, dude. That's what I'm talking about.
We got a lot of shit to do.
This has got to be the season, Michelle. If I'll just say this, and I'm not trying to be a doomsayer over here. Pardon my language. If you got young ears in the car, plug them up. If they fuck this up, if they fuck this season, this off season up, it's gonna have ramifications Jamarcus Russell level. Y'all feel me? And that's not hyperbole. This will have ramifications for the next 5+ years if the Raiders don't get this shit right this season. And so that's why you need the value of a Tom Brady and the talent that's going to be attracted. Because if we screw this up, we toast for a minute.
I have grossly underestimated how bad and how long we've been bad. I think my brain, you said 40 years in a couple of those things.
43 years since we won a road playoff game.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I've grossly underestimated how terrible we've been for so long. And I think because we've said before, this is the year they have to. I think you're right. This is literally something has to give. Because holy shit, that should be all over the building. those numbers should be all over the building.
Yep.
Golly, that's terrible. Yep. Holy shit.
100%.
Holy shit.
100%. So before we go to break, much respect to our guy, Jason Hunter in the building that says, Hendon Hooker got hurt at Tennessee. He was a first-round talent. And I kind of don't want Janty, and here is why. He has too many carries and he gets burnt out quick. He might get burnt out quick like Cedric Benson, who was drafted by the Bears and burnt out really quick as well. But with a $20 donation to the One Nation Foundation. So he drops 100 and then says, here's 20 more. So much respect.
Gosh dang it, man. Thank you so very much. And tell them real quick before we go to break about the One Nation Foundation, where that money's going, Jeff.
Yeah, absolutely. So all the money that we raise doing this show goes to the One Nation Foundation. So we give to the good folks like the Bolitnikoff Foundation, Raider Dad, Max Crosby Foundation, XOXO Stabler. We give to all sorts of different Raider-related charities. So we can't thank you enough for all the support, all these super chats that are just flying in. That's exactly where that money's going. So if you can do that monetarily, that's fantastic. If you can't, just like, subscribe, share, tell a Raider friend, any of that kind of stuff. So let's
and we're gonna make this a banner year for the foundation. We want to set some damn records with the foundation this
Heck
year, and from the help from our good buddies over at Silver and Black Today. Excuse me.
Okay, you choked up.
Yeah. Skugga Branch is going to help us get there, and so so we appreciate all the support to the One Nation Foundation, and we support Raider Dad. Like so many good Raider related charities, and so we can't do that without your support. So thank you very, very much. All right, Swag Jeff, hit a break, and then let's go. Let's hit the Wayback Machine.
You want to do that?
Yeah, let's talk about some Raiders history because that was glorious, Michelle.
Yeah, that's all we got.
That's all we got.
That was depressing.
Las Vegas, a city without a pro football team, in a world gone mad. What can we do about it? Acquire the most desired franchise in sports history? Sin City, lost wages, home of the Elvis weddings, and 24-hour debauchery. But finally, a match made in heaven. The Oakland, LA, Oakland Raiders have landed in the desert with the Death Star as their home. And to celebrate beyond your imagination has come 3 individuals hosting the most irreverent show while paying homage to the storied history of this franchise. Raiders Fan Radio with Murf, Swaggy J, and Michelle, taking a lighter side journey into the dark side.
I appreciate all of those of you joining us live for this episode 362 of Raiders Fan Radio. Before we get into the next segment, Michelle, go ahead and shout out that chat room.
Okay, well, first we have a super chat. Corey Burham, Funky Rada, said, missed donating last year, so I'll be making up for it this year with a $20 donation.
Oh, my God.
Nice, Corey. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Gosh, y'all.
I know.
These donations tonight. Thank you so very, very much. Incredibly, incredibly kind. We're not even giving anything away. There's no summer swag going on. That's just the kindness of Raider Nation. And when we say, Raider Nation is family, La Familia, like we ain't kidding, man. This is what it's all about. It's about uplifting those in our Raider related communities and all the communities, but for sure in terms of this show. Raiders related charities. And so thank you so very, very much. I've said this a lot. And I hope it resonates that we could do an entire show just thanking you guys.
For sure.
Like sometimes I feel like, we get these like 20s and 50s and 100s and even the 10s and I feel like we don't give them enough attention, enough credit, and enough. Like we want to gloss it, but if all we did was gloss super chats, then that was all the show would be. So just know that it doesn't get lost on us, man. Your generosity, your hard-earned dollars to support our nonprofit is just so incredibly kind, and we cannot thank you enough. Thank you so very, very much.
Yes.
All right, so we were going to get into some history, but before we get into history, we're going to get into some current, a little bit more current. Jeff reminded me that we had a segment we were going to do tonight. And since we were already kind of ended the last segment on a little bit of a negative note, that we were going to do. So I wanted to do this over the holidays, over Christmas time, when we were doing the show. But we got so caught up and busy doing other things, we never got to it. But I want to do a segment here. So the show Seinfeld is famous for Festivus, right?
Yes.
And so at the one of the Festivus traditions is that to start off Festivus, you have an airing of the grievances. So tonight, here at Raiders Fan Radio, we're going to air some of our grievances.
Begins with the airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it. You.
All right, so there we go. So we're going to do the airing of the grievances. And this chat room, please, because I never get a chance to read, or not rarely anyways, get a chance to read the chat during the show. But so I'd love to go back and read your answers. So it doesn't have to be necessarily directly to the Raiders. It could be around fans. It could be around social media. It could be around a lot of different things. Easy. Don't mind me as I just kick the shit out of the table here. So let's air some grievances. So Michelle, I know you've got one. Jeff, how many grievances do you have?
I've got 2.
You've got 2. Well, then I'll go first because I've got 3. Okay. Actually, I've got 4 because I have a lot of grievances.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. I have a lot of problems with you people. So, all right, number 1. This is like, and this is not any particular order, but the first one that popped into my head was when people on social media refer to real fans or true fans. Well, if you're a real fan of the Raiders, you think like this. If you're a true fan of the Raiders, you think like this. And you can take it beyond the Raiders. If you're a real fan of this band, you know this was their best album, right? Anybody that claims, real fans or true fans think a certain way, I'm sorry. You fan however the F you want to fan. And even if we or I or anybody else doesn't agree with it or feels a certain way about it, it doesn't make you not a fan. What makes you a fan is the only thing that, again, and I'm the fan police, the things that I respect most about fans, what's the energy that you bring to your fandom? What is it that you do to express your Raider fandom? I don't care how long you've been a fan. I don't care what you wear. I don't care where you're from. None of that stuff matters. What's the passion and energy that you bring to Raider Nation, to this family? And it expresses so many different ways, whether it's a podcast, whether it's music, whether it's art, like what Michelle does, and Jesus of Alamrock, with the wonderful art that you all create. Raider Nation does so many things to express their fandom. That to me is what qualifies you as a fan. Ain't nobody true, ain't nobody real. All that is bullshit, and I hate those terms.
Yeah. So, well said. Well, do you want to go for another one? Because I've only got 2. Yeah.
I got a lot of problems with you people.
Real quick though,
please.
Kevin Lurker became a member.
Hey, Kevin.
Thank you,
Much
Kevin.
respect, Kev.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kevin. All right. Also on social media.
Oh, yeah.
I got another social media term.
Someone's chronically online.
Ex-guilty.
Some people are addicted to drugs. Murf is addicted to X.
Whoa, hey. Jeez.
Oh, okay. Before you do that, we
Okay,
just had
please.
another super chat come
Go.
in. Grandmaster JRA with a $50 super chat.
Oh my gosh, are you
He said-
kidding? Holy cow.
He said, hold your applause. I was in elementary school during the 2001 Super Bowl. My dad said if the Raiders won, I didn't have to go to school the following Monday. Been a fan ever since. Took so much
nice.
ish from my buddies, but never faltered with my loyalty. Raiders.
Oh,
Nice.
that's amazing. And who was that again?
Grandmaster JRA.
Grandmaster JRA. Thank you so
Nice.
very, very
That's
much.
incredible.
For that $50 donation, bro.
Yeah,
Let's
thank
go,
you.
man.
Come on.
Come on, man. I'm telling you, we're going to hit some big numbers for the foundation this year. I can't
Heck
wait.
yeah.
Can't wait. All right. So I got another social media one here. So the term "my Raiders."
Oh.
Now, if you're in a room full of Chiefs fans and you say, "Well, my Raiders," okay, I get that. But when you're amongst Raider Nation and you go, "Well, I love it when my Raiders do well." Fucker, they ain't your Raiders. They're our Raiders.
Our Raiders.
You know what I'm saying? It's like saying, "Well, my kids" to your wife.
Oh.
No, but they're our kids. Like, is it? You know what I'm saying? Like, I hate that one. I hate my.
Oh, okay. Then I have another one.
Okay, go. Your turn.
I hate when people say Raiders Nation.
Oh,
my God.
my
that
God.
one gets all up under my
Brutal.
skin. I can't. Don't type it out. Don't say it. Raiders Nation drives me bananas. Okay.
100% yes. And that's a lot. And you could even tag another grievance with other teams that say, "Oh, we're Eagles Nation," or "We're Steelers Nation," or "We're whatever, Cubs
hate
Nation." I don't give a
that.
shit. Pick a freaking team.
Right.
Hate that, bro.
Same.
Hate that.
Yeah.
All right, you go.
All right. Well, mine isn't about fans. Mine's about the team. Okay. So my first one.
This is Raiders fan radio. So let me shit on Raider fans.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So well, actually, both of mine were about the team. So
okay,
I took it in a different direction than you did, pal. But my first.
It's because you're not on X.
I love all of our fans.
I love most of them.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. So my first grievance is it was just this year, this 2024 season was just another year of the team moving the goalpost on us. I feel like we had this thing, and we start back at the Josh McDaniel days, where we had all this set up, this offensive mind, these amazing talents that we bring into the building. Everyone was bought in and all that stuff. And then once we started losing, it was like, well, we're still trying to learn the system. We're still trying to do these things.
Finding our identity.
Exactly. There you go. Well, then we move forward and so we think finally that it was over when AP takes over. This ill intent, this violence, physicality, pain, this resume on the grass, all this stuff. We see this in the interim season. We're like, okay, yes, this is the identity of the team and all this stuff. We hear all off season that Antonio Pierce, how long is it going to take for the new players and all this to buy in? They bought in day one. They bought in everything, blah, blah, blah. Well, then we start losing games, and AP moves the goalpost on us and says, well, we're still trying to find our identity. Well, I thought our identity was ill intent, violence, physicality, pain, resume on the grass, all this stuff that got you the fucking job in the first place. And now what? And now it's changed? And that was just, I think is in the entirety of a season, that was the thing that frustrated me the most this entire season. And with Antonio Pierce and with this coaching staff and all this stuff, that we were set up. We had it.
We were set up, bro.
We were set up. Yeah. We got it made. We ended the season on such a positive note in 2023. We were there for it, and then all of a sudden it just didn't work out. We got better, I think. Yes, the question of quarterback was still there, but overall, I think we got better.
I agree.
We bring in Christian Wilkins. We sign these other people. Our depth gets better. We add Brock Bowers. We still had Devontae Adams. Holy shit. I go back and listen to shows from a year ago. Dude, we were.
Oh my gosh, we were glossing freaking.
We were here.
Everything
dude.
about the Raiders
we were
back then.
here.
Yeah.
And now we're here. And so, so that's my first grievance.
Yeah.
Well, my only grievance, and actually, you know what? It's the Raiders' fault. So now that I would like to shit on the team as well. No, so watching former Raiders in the playoffs, you're sitting there like, oh, Lamont, we were watching against, I was like, oh, he was a Raider. Oh, he was a Raider. I've named a few.
Okay.
Josh Jacobs, Matt Collins, Amik Robertson, Cleveland Farrell, Nelson Aguilar, Amari Cooper. I'm sure there's more, but
yeah, Mario freaking Williams for crying out loud. No, Mario Edwards.
Edwards, yeah,
Mario Edwards.
Jr.
I'm like,
it's
unreal.
It pisses me off because it's just like the Raiders always seem to let people go and they thrive and they just start killing it, and it's like, what did we do wrong?
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. When and Autry was playing well. Like when Mario Edwards flashed across the screen, I'm like, oh my gosh! I'm like, oh, I forgot about him. I'm like, oh man! I'm like, but it's like it brings you a little bit of joy. Like when Amik had that game that he did, and his post game press conference, not press. Gosh dang it! I'll spit it out. In the locker room, the little speech that he gave and whatnot about when he said you can't bury what came from the dirt. Like it's just like I love that guy and the emotion that he had when he got drafted and with the tear and like I just always had a soft spot for Meek and so to see him do well, I'm with you, Michelle. And there is so many of those names, let alone Josh Jacobs. And granted, the Raiders aren't going to win 10 games because Josh Jacobs was on this team. I firmly get that. But man, to see him ball out at the end of the season and then even do well in the playoffs, despite the way that they lost, still, man, he played well. A guy was, impactful to a freaking postseason football team. And it's wouldn't it have been nice to see him do that in silver and black? But yeah.
Another one too that falls in line with the Raiders Nation when someone says black and silver. I can't
that's a
remember.
good one.
Somebody said it, but I can't scroll back
Yes.
far enough. But that one also gets
Black
under my
and silver
skin.
gets
Black
me
and do
too.
not-
Yeah.
that one
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Jeff, you got. All right, I've got two more. How many? You got one more?
I got one more.
Okay, so I'll go next. All right, so the one that drives me crazy, it's so funny. I saw, so I know. Like, we live in Tennessee. We saw Derrick Henry in Tennessee, so we know how good he is. So did everybody else that has a TV. Like,
right.
I live in this place, and I saw this person do, like, unless you are like friggin' like, you know, you're a big Tulane fan, and you're like, oh, I went to every game that Quinyon Mitchell played in, and oh my gosh, he was there. Unless you went to Louisiana Tech, and you're like, hey, this is a meat guy, man, he can really play. So, you know, I watched him all year long. I can respect that. But when you're talking about like, oh, I live in, I don't know, San Francisco, so I know Brock Purdy's great. Well, no shit. So do we all. So I saw, so I know, drives me crazy.
So my biggest grievance, I think.
Oh, okay. The big one.
It was just, it pisses me off so much because this was the season of what ifs. I think more than any season, we went through a roller coaster this season of, you know, so much uncertainty. And so we start the season. So the first what if, so what if we had re-signed Josh Jacobs? What would this team look like?
2 more wins?
What if we had re-signed Amik Robertson?
2 more
Two
wins.
more wins?
What if Cliff Kingsbury got a 3rd year in his offer and became the offensive coordinator?
4 more wins?
Maybe more,
Maybe
because we
more.
would have traded up and got a quarterback.
And we wouldn't have ever had Luke Getsy's system.
I was going to say.
Well, and to follow that
He's
and to follow that up, because, you know, so Cliff Kingsbury passes and moves on to Washington. What if we had hired Scott Turner as offensive coordinator and not Luke Getsy? What would that look like?
I don't know. I mean, point production went down actually after Getsy left with Scott Turner.
The team looked better.
I agree. The eye test, it looked better.
The team looked better.
But I think they were so down so bad by that point. It was just like, it was only going to go that one way. But I do love it that, like, you know, if Cliff is the guy, and I don't know if there was there's all kinds of crazy reports coming out now too about like Ben Johnson was like, he was maybe in line for that Washington job and then turned it down because they knew how committed they were going to be to freaking Jaden Daniels. And he didn't, and it's like, well, you know what I mean? Like there's so many variables that, but I'm with you, dude, that like, those are the things that like, there was so many things going into this season that didn't go our way. But we were blind to, I'll own it. I was blind to it because I was so enamored with AP. I was so enamored with everything that we saw at the end of last year that we all witnessed with our eyes because we were there, so we know. But like everything that we saw at the end of last year, we were so, again, I'll own it myself. I was blinded by it. I'm like, oh, this other shit don't matter because this guy is going to be the one to take us to the damn promised land.
Right.
And then it never happened.
Right, exactly. So speaking of AP, what if he had followed his gut?
Jeez, started Aiden.
Started at Aiden. What if Aiden O'Connell was awarded the quarterback 1 over Gardner Minshew? What would our team look like?
No,
would it look different?
I don't think AOC throws a pick to Patrick Surtain for 100 yards in the end zone.
Definitely not.
I still think Luke Getsy was the weakest link, though. Like we would have been better, but would we?
Do you
have
think
just
he
been
might have made that
average? No, I mean like his system was still just so bland and vanilla. Like I think, okay, then we would have been 8 and 9. Like we would have been middle of the road maybe. And I don't know that's not good enough. Like
all those plays that started to develop behind the line of scrimmage and the time that it took, it was brutal.
So
man.
Aiden could have probably made us a little better, but I still think we would have had we were not going to have the year I thought we were going to have.
Yeah.
What did I say? We were 14 or 13-4, 14-3.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah, I think I was at 12 maybe.
Yeah.
You were 14, I was 12 wins, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, I said, what if the injury bug didn't hit the Raiders?
That's a big one.
That was
is
a
big
huge one.
That's
We
a big one.
start off the season before the season even starts. We start off with Malcolm Kuntz Christian Wilkins goes down early, and say what you will about, it wasn't because some guy celebrated a sack and jumped up on top of him. I think that's what it was.
Probably.
I think that's what it was, and they were just covering for the guy. What if Max Crosby doesn't go down?
Nate Hobbs.
Nate Hobbs, Marcus
Jacorian
Bennett. I mean, you name it. We just couldn't catch a freaking break this year.
Yeah, Zamir White even. You know what I mean?
That might have benefited the Raiders.
Well, but not in short yardage. Clearly it didn't.
Well, yeah,
you know what I mean? What did he do well at Georgia? Was punch it in from the 1 yard line.
That's
we
true.
didn't have anybody that could freaking do that.
That's true.
So yeah.
And I also think that Luke Getsy broke Minshew. Minshew was better than we thought. He looked worse this season than I think he's ever looked ever.
Under Shane Steichen, he did pretty well. He beat our ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm with you.
I blame Getsy for a lot.
And there is a such thing as coaches or coordinators that can break a player.
Yeah.
A la Josh McDaniels. Like, you know what I mean?
Hunter Renfro, yeah.
Thank you.
Tore
Right?
him up.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's a real world thing, Michelle. So I'm
Yeah.
with you. All right, all right, got one more grievance. All right, then let's move on and let's talk about our Raiders top 10 and take us to a break after this. Okay. This is so funny because it's that time of year, right? Sadly for Raider fans, technically the NFL season is even over. We start doing mock drafts. And people love to publish their mock drafts. And I say, you do whatever you want. Team and your mock draft is not interesting to anybody but you. That's it. Like Dennis Miller, famous comedian, had a great line where he said, "Nothing in life is more important to me than my own orgasm, and nothing is less important to me than yours." And that's the truth. And your fantasy football team and your mock draft kind of fall into that line. So put them out there all you want, but I'm scrolling past it.
Same.
Yeah,
a lot of mine was social media related. Jeez, I gotta get off
every single one of them.
I gotta get off X so much.
Oh my gosh.
Jeez. What the hell?
What's up, Raider Nation? It's your boy, Will Compton. You're listening to Raiders Fan Radio with my boys Murf, Swaggy Jeff, and Uncle Mosh. Tune in because they put out a banger podcast.
Nobody enjoyed a good Donnybrook more than sixth-year linebacker Phil Villapiano.
This is Phil Villapiano, and you're listening to Raiders Fan Radio.
All right, before we jump into this top 10 list, Michelle, go ahead and shout out the chat room for us, please.
All right, we've got road codes in there. Jordan Ford, Paul, T-Hom, Martin, Ron, Daniel Munoz. Let's see who. Roy Chong's in there. Desert Raider. I said Daniel Munoz. Yoshi's in there. Matthew Mangus.
Hey.
And Pineapple's in there.
Oh, nice. Thank you all so very, very much for joining us for this episode of Raiders Fan Radio. All right, so there was a list that came out earlier this week. So speaking of Phil Villapiano.
Yes.
He could be on this list. There was a list that came out. This is from Fox Sports, and this is the top 10 all-time Raiders. And we thought this would be a fun conversation to have. For those of you that hadn't seen the list, I'll give it to you in reverse order. So number 10 comes in Charles Woodson. 9 is Kenny Stabler. Willie Brown comes in at 8. Ted Hendricks as number 7. Timmy Brown is number 6. Howie Long is 5. Marcus Allen is 4. Art Shell is 3. Jim Otto is 2. And Gene Upshaw is number 1 on the list for all-time top 10 Raiders. So here's the question we have for the chat room, and obviously for you two as well. Is that your top 10? And if it's not, who would you have to take off? And so this is the part that got me, because I'm looking at this list and I'm like, damn it. Like, there's no one, and this is why these questions get so fun. These discussions are so fun, because there's no one that you can point to and go like, oh yeah, I'd take him off the list. Like none of, they're all legends of legends. And so that said, Freddie B to me is a legend of legends, and he's not on this list. So who would I take off? And because I not to get outside of the order of things, which I agree, Gene Upshaw is number 1, at least this is my mind. And I think Kenny is way too low. Like take someone off. I hate to, but I think I got to pull Ted Hendricks.
Yeah.
I hate that. And I love kick him in the head, Ted. I love the mad all these in the Hall of Fame. So it's not like you can just be like, oh, that one guy, like just get him off there. But I think that the impact, and this is where I had to take my fan brain out of it, the impact that Freddie Biletnikoff had wasn't quite to the level of maybe what Ted Hendricks was. And that's arguable. I mean, Ted Hendricks was great. He blocked a freaking field goal in the Super Bowl, for crying out loud. Like, he was an amazing, incredible player. Freddie B was a Super Bowl MVP. So that's hard for me. And I really, this was brutal, man. Like, it's brutal to like look through this list. The only other one I would consider is Art Shell. And I think that the only reason I would say
he's not in mine either.
Okay,
He's
and the
not
only
in
reason
mine either.
Okay, see, and the reason I would say take off Art Shell, and maybe even after I'm sitting here thinking about it, I might swap out Freddie B for Art Shell. The reason I would take off Art Shell is because he played next to Gene Upshaw and Jim Otto and or Dave Dalby. Like, that offensive line was so incredible. Does it fall off a cliff if you remove Art Shell? Where does the defense fall off a cliff if you remove Ted Hendricks? No, I don't think so either. But the offense falls off, maybe not a cliff, but dramatically if you take out Fred Biletnikoff. So he's got to go in there somewhere, in my mind. So either Hendricks or Shell, and that's a riding the fence answer, which I hate, riding the fence on things. If I had to pick, I mean, God dang it. I have to go Art because Hendricks was the other side of the ball. So I'll just leave it at that. So I'll say put Freddie B in for Art Shell for the all-time top 10. Michelle, you want to go next?
So I misunderstood the assignment. I thought it was my top 10. I didn't realize it was top 10 of all time. So I chose mine off of vibes alone, and so
well, you know what? Go for it. Do your top 10.
No, I don't want to do that because I want to stick to the assignment. But I guess I can't go against anything that you said because I thought Fred, he's on mine. He was on mine, strictly on vibes. But also, I think he should be in the top 10 of all time. Art Shell, I would have removed. I would remove Gene Upshaw, but that's because he wasn't he's just not in my top 10.
I got you.
And Ted Hendricks would have been gone too. So, but anyway. This makes more sense.
Well, I was kind of no, but I kind of did it
because Charles Woodson was number 1. So I'm
right.
Well, see, and that's a different discussion because obviously, like, mine's Stabler.
Yeah,
right. Stabler would be he's my all-time favorite Raider. Yeah. Like, he would be number 1. So we could go and then that's and I'm glad you brought this up. So let's do that for next week.
Okay.
Let's bring back our personal
top 10.
Our top 10, because I would put Otis Sistrunk on there.
Yeah.
Like, I would put a lot of different guys on that list. So let's do that for not only top 10 Raiders, but then our top 10 personal ones. All right. So Jeff, what do you got for this one?
Yeah. Well, so I kind of did more like what Michelle did because I have it number 10. I took out Art Shell. I took out Ted Hendricks. And then I had at number 10, I had Daryl LaMonica.
You love you some LaMonica.
I love Daryl LaMonica.
He would be on my top 10 personals.
Yeah.
Personal favorites.
You know, for sure. Not only did we
might be on number 2.
Not only did
just
we
because
meet
we
the
got
guy.
Yes.
Not only did we get to meet the guy and is just the salt of the earth, just an unbelievable human being, and rest in peace to that man. But I look at that too, and like, he ushered in the Raiders.
Yes.
He was the quarterback. He was the guy when Al Davis took over the team. He was the guy and was so ahead of his time.
Yes.
So ahead of his time. And that's why he's on my top 10 list. And not just, I think he deserves to be one of the top 10 Raiders of all time, not just on Swag Jeff's list.
He should be in the Hall of Fame for sure.
He should definitely be in the Hall of Fame, but yeah. So
that's I'm gonna love doing the personal top 10 because like Tatum goes on there. Hell, Phil.
Save it for next week.
Oh,
save it for the show, Murf.
Podcast mom.
Save her for 363.
That's gonna be a fun segment. So okay, all right. So good. So you're good with this top 10, other than you put LaMonica in for one of those guys.
Yeah, for sure. And Freddie B was the same.
Yeah.
It was the same with me too. I mean, you got to have him on there. You know, I mean,
there's a college award named after him, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Like, he's the face of freaking wide receiver. Like, speaking about being ahead of his time. Like,
hello. Yeah.
He's on the short list of guys back in the day. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to think, who's the guy from the freaking Colts? He was one too. The guy from the Jets. I forget all these names, man. I'm getting older. But anyways, but there was like, he was the best of the best, and the first one, like one of the very first ones to usher in that level of wide receiver production. You know what I mean? Because everything back in the NFL that day was about running. That's all they did. It was Jim Brown. It was freaking, you know what I mean? It was the Packers. It was grind you out. They weren't throwing for 300 or 400 yards back then and catching passes downfield and, you know, cutting you up with routes and all that kind of shit. And that's what Freddie B did, man. Like, he ushered in that era. So I'm with you. Freddie B definitely belongs. Yeah. All right, more of you and less of us is a good thing. Let's get to the Sea of Fans mailbag.
There he is, baiting, looking. He's under the gun. He's caught, he's thrown. It is!
All right, as I mentioned, more of you and less of us is a good thing. I can't see it to shout you out, but thank you for being in there. Do we have any super chats we need to catch up on, Michelle? All right, so thank you to all of those of you that are in there, and can't wait to catch up with your lists and who your top 10 is. And we'll do our personal top 10 next week for sure. But anyways, if you want to correspond here with us at Raiders Fan Radio, you can do it each and every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern here on the YouTube at youtube.com/Raiders Fan Radio, or you can send us an email. And that email, Michelle, is show. That is SHO. I just wanted to drag that out for a second, make it uncomfortable for everybody. W, that's SHOW at RaidersFanRadio.com. And if you email us an indefinite amount of times, you can become the next made man or made maiden here at Raiders Fan Radio, or you can call us, and you can call the show at 909-345-3346. That's 909-345-3346. We appreciate all of those of you that called us this week. Or you can even email in your voicemail like Martin over in the UK does, and you can send that to show or Murf, which is MURF, at RaidersFanRadio.com. So appreciate you all very, very much. Michelle has the honor of reading your emails. And Michelle, who do we have tonight?
First, we have Matthew Mangus.
Hey, Matthew.
The season is over, and I know we're all disappointed at the outcome, and so is the organization. For what feels like the millionth time in my life, I've been a fan since 2006. We have another head coach search happening, and now a new GM. So let's go over the candidates. Ben Johnson, my personal pick, Lions OC. He's the number one choice, and reports are coming in that he's Brady's pick. I want the Lions to win the Super Bowl, but the sooner the Lions lose, the sooner we can cut the check. Todd Monken, Ravens OC, and the fact that he was at Georgia when Bowers was winning awards, and he's done amazing work with the Ravens. The championship game against the Chiefs. Bucks OC, Plan B. And the offense going after the last OC got the head coaching job. As far as GM, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. I trust Brady and the front office picking the right guy. That's all for me. Stay safe, Raider Nation. Yours truly, Matthew Mangus, proud made man, 3-time Gemini Man winner.
Nice. Thank you, Matthew.
Okay, next we have Paul. And he calls this the Billy Joel edition.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Evening, everybody. I hope you're all well. A few weeks ago, I did a Led Zeppelin-based email for Murf, but Swaggo mentioned he was more of a Billy Joel kind of guy, so here's a Billy Joel version dedicated to Swaggy J.
Nice.
I'll work on a Steely Dan one for Michelle soon. Yes.
Hey.
The Raiders are now in the early stages of cleaning house, and the lookout for a new GM and head coach is in full swing. Us, which wasn't a shock. Pretty much knew it was good night Saigon for him. His lack of improvement made it inevitable for the longest time. The players had his back more than we did, but
yeah, he's doing a Billy Joel edition.
Nice. Love it.
But in the end, it was a matter of trust. So it was necessary, even though the way it was done was shameless. Had he stayed there, was a storm front coming, and in the end, honesty prevailed, and he was on his way. He had been acting like a big shot towards the end of his time, and the confusion around the organization was like scenes from an Italian restaurant.
Nice.
Who knows where he will end up next? It's not a long list of jobs for him. I suppose he could go back east if he's in a New York state of mind. Then we saw the demise of Tom Telesco. This was a little more surprising initially, but it's starting to make more sense as we progress. He might have thought he was an innocent man, but my life experience tells me nobody is safe.
This
Both
is incredible.
Telesco and
So
Pierce may think it's a harsh decision, and we didn't start the fire, but the River of Dreams was going in the wrong direction, and Mark Davis and Tom Brady clearly thought differently. So who's next on the Raiders carousel? I'd have liked to see us go after Mike Tomlin from up near Allentown, but that's a non-starter. The popular choice with Tom Brady seems to be Ben Johnson as head coach with Ray Agnew as GM in a double Detroit swoop. And who knows, Tom, you may be right. We might have had to be patient with anybody from Detroit, though, as they could be going all the way this season. A decision certainly won't be made this night. I could go on, but I go to extremes with this kind of thing at times, so I'll end with this. No matter what changes there are within the organization, Raider Nation, you need to stay the same. I love you just the way you are.
Oh,
stay safe, our family.
Paul.
Love you, Raider Nation. His Lordship, the Royal Scribe, Paul Edgerton, Shropshire, Mississippi, Polly Award winner 2019-2022, Foggy Glasses Award winner 2020, Made Man of the Year 2024, BRT Sizzler Scorekeeper, Proud Made Man, five times, times 4 plus 4, winner of the Raiders Fan Radio BRT Sizzler Award.
Oh, boy,
Nice,
Paul.
Paul. Well done.
You know, Michelle, you did such a great job reading that email. Just an uptown girl.
Hey.
Great job there, Paul.
I've been told I have Rosalinda's eyes.
Were you told what?
I have Rosalinda's eyes.
Oh.
It's a deep cut.
That's a deep cut.
Yeah.
Is that on The Stranger?
I think so.
Yeah.
Paul? It's one of my favorites.
Paul, your name Paul?
Paul.
I met him with Paul. Who? Paul.
Paul, yes, Paul.
Paul's not here. Hey, Paul. Paul.
Hi. I'm Paul.
Darn right you are, Paul. And if you want to be like Paul, you can email the show at that is SHOW, at RaidersFanRadio.com. Appreciate you very, very much. All right, let's get into these voicemails, Swag Jeff.
Let's do it.
Let's see who the first one we got here is. Let's see. We are in the 916. This looks like, Raider Kojo.
Nice.
From Sacramento.
Salute, RFR family. This is Raider Kojo from Sacktown. It's been a minute. Man,
Sure
this
has.
team, I don't know. I think this team is being ran by the Acme Company for real, because they continue to be Wile E. Coyote, and everybody else in the AFC West is the freaking Roadrunner, okay? And we're never going to catch them.
Man.
Okay?
Truth.
First, we thought AP was safe. Then he got fired 24 hours after that. Then we thought Tom Telesco was safe, and then he got fired today. Okay, then you got Sam Kelly talking about, my plan was to start AOC and not draft the quarterback at all. Like, that is irresponsible thinking, and you got to get the hell out of here, too. I hope they got rid of his ass, too. Anyway, we have no plan, man. It's like we are the exact opposite of the A-team, and it's like the bad guys telling Hannibal Smith, like, I love it when a plan falls apart because you don't have a freaking plan. It's like every single time this team just continues to I don't even understand what they're doing. Like, if anybody has a plan or any ideas, please, we need to start bombarding Mark Davis's office. We need a picket fence. I don't know. We need to do something, but this team just continues to disappoint day in and day out. So man, they are really testing me. It's like I've been a fan now for 36 years, and, we just continue to hire, fire, it's just a coaching carousel. Like, what, this is the 9th coach since Mark Davis took over, and I believe the 13th or 14th since we went to the Super Bowl. Like, guys, can we get on the freaking right track for once? I mean, we're just going off the rails, like, all the freaking time. Continuing to be Wile E. Coyote using Acme products that don't freaking work. I'm just so sick of it, man. But I don't know. Hopefully now that, Tom is in charge or he's a part owner, hopefully he can make a plan to actually draft the freaking franchise quarterback. Anyway, this is Raider Kojo. Talk to y'all later. Out.
Hey, nice job, Raider Kojo.
There you go, Kojo.
Keep those coming.
Yeah.
Heck yeah,
Great
dude.
to hear from Kojo, man. Been a minute. Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you calling in. As always, love the A-team reference. When the plan falls apart. All right, next up, let's go to, this is 7:03, so I'm guessing this is our buddy Josh.
What up, fam?
What up, fam? Well, I'm calling Tom Telesco. He's been fired now. They're doing a whole clean house situation. Usually when I call you guys, I'm driving, so sometimes my phone cuts that in and out. I heard that on the last phone call, so apologies about that. But
Park.
No, Michelle, I do not want Tom Brady on the team. I don't like Tom Brady owning a piece of the team.
Oh.
I'm still waiting for that bus to come when Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes are holding hands, and they never see that fucker coming. But I'm not a big fan of, I understand AP got swept in the division. That's one of the biggest things people are harping on. And they're right. I didn't want AP gone personally, but I understand that part at least where I can go, yeah, I get it. But I just hope that the hires that we're about to do are going to actually stay and have some continuity. That is a problem we can have.
Man.
Continuity is one of the things that we are not good at.
Yeah.
Every time we think we got it, something goes wrong. Jack Del Rio, Gruden, everyone, we all hype for AP. I just want to see continuity, and I want us to do it fucking right. And, when you look at other teams, historical teams like us, look like the Steelers and stuff.
Racing
the Steelers
somebody.
have had three head coaches. And sometimes they fail, they let them build up, get their programming, their culture, all that stuff, but that's what I would like to see. Now, if we can go get Mike Tomlin, that's someone we're trading for. I'm not up for trading for Store Ward. Mike Tomlin's a trade for him, and that's possible. Fuck what you heard. But, that's what I want to see. How to figure out now who's going to be, what is their schemes and fucking what players are they going to want to keep, which ones they want to let go, because now that's a whole different thing. New coach staff, new players, how they fit, they don't fit, yada, yada. I didn't draft shit like that. So, I don't know, man. I'm tired of fucking changeover. Changing over constantly, not any favors. But, man, fuck the process.
Well done, Josh.
Nicely done. Man, when we say this is family, we were talking about Fast and the Furious over there, Josh.
No kidding.
Jeez.
You're acting like Vin Diesel over there.
Martin said someone stole his car from outside the phone booth.
Attaboy, Martin. It's too fun. This is the 8-1. Oh, this is Josh in the East Bay.
Hey, Raider Nation. Josh in the East Bay. Sorry, sitting in traffic. Got cut off. I was listening to your latest episode, and I wanted to chime in, not about Telesco or AP or any of that, because I feel like I actually, I agree with you guys for the most part. I just want to see something to be optimistic about in the future. But my gripe this season and for the last 10 years or so is situationally, why is it when we have a lead and halftime is coming up, why do we always find a way to turn it over,
come on,
allow the other team to score, tie it up, and then they get possession in the third quarter and score, and the wheels fall off? Why are we always on the bad side of that transaction?
Come on.
Every time. And when we do defer and get the ball in the third, we never come out guns blazing, and whether we have a lead or whether we're down and need to tie it up, we never capitalize. Why is situationally, why are we always on the bad end of someone capitalizing on our mistakes or our not going for the throat? That I don't get. I want, if anything, in a new coach, someone who takes charge and is proactive, not reactive. All right, you guys take care.
Josh in the East Bay.
Right on, dude. Yeah, that's a great point. A great question. Yeah, I feel like it's been a minute since we've seen the Raiders win the middle eight.
I was just gonna say the middle eight. Bill Belichick, regardless how you feel about Bill Belichick, he will tell you that's the most important 8 minutes of a football game.
Yep,
is the middle eight, the last four and the first four. And if you can score in the final four of the first, and then you can score in the first four of the second, it gives you a decisive, we're not decisive, but it gives you, I don't know, whatever the term is, an advantage. It gives you a
major
huge
swing advantage.
It's a
Yeah,
major
hell yeah.
swing advantage. And I would throw this out there too. Like, it's also, Michelle, it's a momentum thing. Sports and football is all momentum. So if you've got momentum going out of the half and then got momentum going into the second half, it's huge, man. I think it's a great point by Josh there.
Yeah, I always ask Lamont when I'm not paying attention. I'm like, who kicked off? Because I need to know like who gets the ball after the half, because that's always such an important time. And it's sad, and that's coaching and
come on,
really lackadaisical play calling. Like, it's so. When have we been aggressive? When have the Raiders? How long has it been since the play calling and the coaching has been aggressive? Like, it just feels like it's.
Jack Del Rio?
Yeah.
Because even Gruden 2.0 didn't seem to be that aggressive.
Yeah.
No, for sure. Well, we saw a little bit of it last season out of Antonio Pierce, because you remember the coming out of the half, interview that they had with Antonio Pierce. I'll never forget it, because they said, well, what do you got to do, to hold this lead or whatever? He goes, we got to step on their throat.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Like, that was Raider shit,
Well,
man.
speaking of your I wish things that didn't happen, where did that go this year?
Where did that go?
I even forgot that happened because of the way this season went, because he was so unaggressive in that sense. That's a great point.
That
man.
was that emotion. Like, I think he was still playing, and we talked about that with the what was his name? I forget him now. The last interim that we had.
Oh, Bisaccia.
Bisaccia. Yeah, like that emotion. They're just playing off of that and kind of running with that, because he didn't have anything to lose at the end of that season. Right.
Yeah.
So that's sad.
Yeah, man. Good stuff there from Josh in the East Bay, man. Appreciate you.
Great call.
Very, very much. Yeah, great call. All right, next up, let's go to caller in a 559. I'm going to assume this is Jacob in Fresno.
Hey.
Murf, Michelle, and Jeff. I'm down bad. I'm down bad, guys. It's
we all are, brother.
Clear. Not a good week for Jacob from Fresno. But hey, this is the light side of the dark side. I'm really butchering that one, aren't I? I forget what do we call it? What do we call the show? A light journey into the dark side.
There you go.
So, in honor of that, let's keep it positive. Even though I feel like, crying every time I look at my AP tattoo that I got when we hired him.
No.
Every time,
please don't.
I look at my 58 Antonio Pierce jersey that I had custom made.
Well, that I could believe.
Obviously, I didn't do any of these things. But the point is, I'm very sad that AP is no longer here. I felt like
You almost got an Antonio Pierce tattoo.
If I went to Bolitnikoff this year, I would have got him to sign my arm.
And then he's going to tattoo it.
And I was going to tattoo it.
That's how confident we
Oh
were in
my
this
God.
guy.
God really shined on you. He intervened. He intervened big time. Wow.
Yeah.
What ifs? There's your what
There's
if.
your what if.
Yeah.
Yeah. How would you cover that one up?
I don't know. I would have. I don't know.
I would have just lied and said it was my favorite musician.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's no way to modify that name to say something else.
No.
You're like Johnny Depp.
Hopefully he had a really messy, I don't know, I can't remember what his signature looked like, but hopefully it was really messy.
I would have put a CR in front of it.
CRAP? That's funny.
Yeah.
That would have made sense.
I would have done it.
Yeah.
There we go.
Crap.
Crap 58. All right, we go.
He deserved an opportunity. Not that he deserved. Let me rephrase that. I felt like he did not deserve to have the opportunity taken away from him that he was given last year. So here's what I'll say. If AP was hired on a 1-year deal, obviously he didn't earn the second year. But since we gave him at least 2 years, I didn't feel that he had done poorly enough to get the terminated contract. But all I want to say about it is I think most of Raider Nation would agree, guys. At this point, if you are out and about in your day-to-day life and you saw Josh McDaniels, how many of you guys are stopping to get an autograph? Not too many, right? I don't think we're really excited that we see a Josh McDaniels.
Zero of
But
us.
if you see AP, I think all of us are still pretty excited about the fact that AP took over that season, you know, and led us to 8 and 9 when we were really down bad, right? And he gave us a regime that last year, right, in 23, we had the #1 defense overall while he was the coach. And so, I mean, there's a lot to look back on and say, I'm glad that AP was the coach. We can look back and say he should not be ashamed of what he did because he'd never done anything like that before. Hadn't been a head coach in any level except for high school. So with what he was able to do, proud of him, happy. Obviously not happy with the result. But, guys, the future, let's focus on the future. Maybe Ben Johnson, maybe Deion Sanders. Apparently not Deion Sanders with the news today. But we got somebody coming in, and I'm going to be very critical of him because we've been very critical of AP. But I don't know what else to tell you guys. Maybe don't be so hard on the next guy. I'm going to be pretty hard on him because you guys. All right, you take it easy. Love you guys.
Appreciate you.
Gosh.
Jacob in Fresno. Here's what I'll say.
I wish my dad was as patient as Jacob in Fresno.
Oh my
like,
gosh,
man,
man.
that's the kind of father I wish I'd had.
Right.
Oh, you failed 9th grade? It's okay.
It's fine.
You know,
Yeah, you'll be all right. Get him
you'll
next
be
time,
okay.
Tiger. Yeah, it's, you know, you can't have a worse record than Josh McDaniels. He's got a worse record than Josh McDaniels. He's one more loss than Josh McDaniels and the same amount of wins. And so I love you, Jacob in Fresno, and keep those calls
Same,
coming, brother.
yes.
We love you, man. And it's okay that we don't agree. But he got enough of a shot. Like, and so to answer your question too about would you ask for Josh McDaniels' autograph versus AP? Well, we did ask AP for his autograph when we met him, and we were thrilled that he was going to be our interim head coach. And I also agree that he was thrust into a position prematurely. Like, he wasn't ready for it, clearly. Like, he wasn't ready for it. Would he be one day? Maybe. I don't know. I hope he is. For him, because I like the guy. And we've said this numerous times on this show. We will never not appreciate what he did for us at the end of last year. The last 9 games of last year were fun as hell.
We can never take that away from him.
Never. That will always exist. Those amazing memories of the tailgates and of being at the games and all that. That was some of the most fun I've had at a game. Not only because we were all there together with our spouses, but it was just fun. It was fun to be a Raider fan during those last 9 games. And you're right. That will never get taken away from Antonio Pierce. But to say that he deserved another shot versus like what Josh McDaniels did. Well, yeah, but the performance on the field was worse. So you can't, I don't think there's a way to,
He beat the Broncos. Josh McDaniels beat the Broncos. We went 0-6 in the division.
You can't do that,
You
man.
just can't do that. The end.
Can't go 0-6.
You can't waste, and I know I sound like a broken record, but you can't waste another year with Sean Payton.
Come on.
That walrus, what's his name? Andy Reid and Harbaugh.
That ain't true. That's not true.
Oh, shit, I hit the wrong one. I messed up the joke.
Or says he's fat.
There we go.
You can't waste another year. You can't give someone another year. And I know, like, that sounds harsh, but you just, not in the division we're in. You just can't.
You can't.
Yeah.
We got multiple Super Bowls, Hall of Fame level head coaches. Like,
When you
And
have a
also-
coach regress the way that he did,
That's the thing. You can't go backwards,
You
man.
can't go backwards.
And believe me, I'm gonna be critical of the next.
Oh, hell yeah.
You're not gonna catch me slipping again. You will not. I need to see it before I believe it.
Yep.
So
Yep. Agreed.
But would you say, though, that we did see at the end of AP? And that's what was so challenging. When you see the way that we beat the shit out of the Chargers, right? We freaking pillaging just for fun. We were swaggering boisterously in Arrowhead.
Yeah.
When Jack Jones picks off Patrick Mahomes and stares him down in the end zone. Like, there were some significant moments of the last part of last year that did give us that.
Oh,
And I think that's the hardest part, going back to the whole, like, false hopes and all those things. We thought something really special was there.
I was certain.
Come on.
That they had finally figured it out, and they had finally got both things that they needed: the culture, like the bringing sort of that back to the forefront, and the coaching, like, because we didn't have any reason to not believe that. And even if he got in over his head, he took the position thinking he
That's
had,
fair.
so he could have said, I don't think I'm ready to be a head coach. Like, this was fun, but I'm not sure I'm ready. And that's why he brought in 55 people that didn't help him.
There you go. I mean, that's another one of those things, like I was talking about earlier, these what ifs.
Yeah.
What if he hadn't brought in all of his old former
yeah.
coaches and friends and stuff like that helped him make every decision that he made? I mean, what if AP was just AP the whole season long? Because that's what he was last year.
Yeah.
Because that really sent a message that he didn't believe in.
We took it as, he's surrounding himself with mentors.
That's
and
so smart, so wise.
But that might have revealed a lack of confidence. I'm with you on that, Michelle.
Yeah.
And in terms of the, not supporting the guy or, being critical of the next guy, listen, we're going to be hypercritical of the next guy too. And I got, but I'm willing to be patient. And I haven't got this one in a while, but I got bootlicker. Like, you are such a bootlicker for Josh McDaniels. And I used to get bootlicker for Gruden all the time. Well, you're such a bootlicker. I even got bootlicker for AP when he first came around. The idea is this, though, and let's not let this get lost, is that it's okay to be positive early until there's evidence to show otherwise.
Yeah.
I'm going to be, you want to call me a bootlicker, a freaking, whatever, an advocate, an apologist, what? Fine. Knock yourself out. Because I'm going to remain positive and have faith in something until it shows otherwise. So if the next head coach comes in, Ben Johnson comes in, God forbid, and turn in a freaking 7-10 season going into next year, I'm not going to be negative yet.
You're right.
4, 5, 6 games in, guess what? You're going to hear a lot of freaking venom getting spewed from me and us and everybody else in Raider Nation. But I'm willing to I know we hate the process and patience and all that shit. I get it, Raider Nation. But I'm willing to let it show itself. I'm willing to let the identity of the football team, the identity of the organization, unfold. And should it unfold and it be shit, well, then we're going to be sitting here on these microphones telling you that it's shit. But until then, it's not being an apologist. It's having faith that maybe this is the time that it finally goes right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what we have with Antonio Pierce.
Yeah, you can go and watch the progression, the Josh McDaniels season. You can watch us I think at the beginning of every season, we wipe the slate clean because you have to. You can't carry it. You just can't. And you can see the progression of us giving him the benefit of the doubt and then slowly descending into get this out of here. You can see it. And the same thing with this season. We were heavy, hardcore bootlicker, whatever you want to call it. That's what I'm going to be at the beginning of every season. Yeah.
This show, the tone of this show, way different.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's how I will be every single season until I see. But yeah, I'm going to be that this coming season, but I'm also going to be giving a heavy side eye.
Cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
Cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
All right, good stuff there from Jacob in Fresno. Appreciate you very, very much. All right, let's get next up. Let's see, we've got. Okay, so this is I think this is Jay in St. Louis.
It's Jay in St. Louis, Murf, Michelle Swago. What's up? I'm calling because I knew I was going to get Google voiced if I didn't finish. The other coach candidate I wanted to bring up was Pete Carroll. A lot of people are against it. I'm kind of low-key for it because he's the kryptonite to Harbaugh. He could beat him.
Oh.
And he kept that dangerous, Russ Wilson shit and the defense, like their hatred for each other under wraps until they traded Russ. Like I don't know. I think that wouldn't be horrible. That's all I'm going to say. But like I said, can't wait to listen to the show. Peace out.
Nice. Dude,
Jay?
that's a great point.
Yeah,
Solid point.
It
Here
is.
we are talking about all this stuff tonight about how he's got to, the next coach has to compete with all these Hall of Famers. And and freaking Pete Carroll got the best of freaking Jim Harbaugh plenty of times, man.
A bunch.
So that was awesome, man. Good call out there, our buddy Jay in St. Louis. Appreciate you. All right, we got one more to get to. This is no transcript, so here we'll see what we got from a caller in the 619.
Hey, this is Steve from San Diego.
Hey, Steve.
Been a while. Not much to talk about lately, but what's funny is I heard some people talking on one podcast, and they mentioned something that sounded kind of funny. He goes, the most exciting part of this season has been right now, the off season.
Typically
the whole
is.
season's been such a mess. But the most exciting has been right now, the off season, because of what Tom Brady's doing. Yes, we all know, the Tom Brady, all that stuff that's happened in the past. But you know what? If you get this thing going and we get it right, who cares? And, all that stuff about commitment to excellence, well, I'm sorry, Brady and the Patriots were committed to excellence. I like what he's doing. I like the fact that he's, going after the highest thing, Ben Johnson. He's not, well, let's see, but he's going boom, right for the top thing. But
yeah.
It's funny, and so they're talking about GMs.
You know what?
Does anybody, when I heard the name Spytech, I'm like, I haven't really heard that name before. I didn't really think about it or the GMs and all that stuff. So I heard this Spytech. It doesn't sound like Skynet from Terminator. When I heard Spytech, I go, this is like Skynet from Terminator. Anyway, so it's kind of funny, but maybe he's got that robotic mind. And he has done some really great things. But they got to, make sure the coach and the GM and everything meshes together. But I think, if they get it right, they get all this stuff going, and it looks like, it's going in a positive way. I think Tom Brady not messing around. So, we're not messing around. We're going something. So I'm going to throw something else out there. I know it sounds crazy, but let's speak it into existence, people.
Come on.
Because all this changes can happen and just all of a sudden. So here's my feeling. Yeah, Joe Burrow. Yeah, I know. You're the what, Joe Burrow? Cincinnati has done nothing to help him. They are wasting his time away. If I were Joe Burrow, I'd want to leave that place. Now, I know he's got a couple years on his contract, but what if they stack the deal and say, you know what, Joe Burrow's not going to be here. How about we'll give you some picks, some great stuff, and we'll trade for him and show Joe Burrow. With Ben Johnson, you're going to have a great offensive system, offensive line. The defense is better. The team's way better than Cincinnati is, without the quarterback. If you take out quarterbacks, Raiders are a better team than Cincinnati. But could you imagine? Let's speak that into existence. Because that would be a Tom Brady, hey, we're not messing around. We're this is about just flat out winning, going for it. So I know it sounds crazy, but it was just a thought I had. I was like, man, can you imagine? Because that's the feel I get with Tom Brady. He's going after the highest, best, choices. And, Joe Burrow was in the playoffs. He would scare the heck out of Mahomes and all those guys. And his team is way worse than everybody else has. All the other quarterbacks have great teams and coaches, and he has a mess of an organization.
Google Voice.
So, when you call the show at 909-345-3346, you get 3 minutes. Got to get that call in 3 minutes. But appreciate you, Steven, San Diego. Again, we talk about it all the time on the show. It'd be no fun if we just all sat around and agreed with each other. There is zero chance Joe Burrow makes his way out of Cincinnati for the next, 8 years probably.
Yep.
It's the hardest thing to do in the NFL, and I would argue all of sports, is nail an elite quarterback. That is so hard.
And that part I agree with him on. It's not Joe Burrow, But Tom Brady wants an elite quarterback here in Las Vegas. So whoever that is, I mean, whether we get him from the draft, free agency, a trade, anything like that, but it ain't gonna be Joe Shiesty.
No,
this is my favorite time of the season because this is when we can literally just make our dream.
Oh, sure.
Trades and like, well, what if? Because I did say that to Lamont mostly because Libby really likes Joe Burrow. But so I was like, that'd be cool if he became a Raider.
How's it ranking between Joe Burrow, Max Crosby, and Trayvon Merrick?
Oh, Max Crosby's probably number one.
Okay.
Yeah. The other two. Well, no, actually, probably. That's a tough one. I'd have to ask her. I'll
She
report back.
she likes some
I'll
Trayvon.
report. She does.
loves
She
some
does.
Merrick.
I'll report back.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Because I think we might have left Joe Burrow in 2024, actually. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry,
New
Joe.
year, new me.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't. That guy's never gonna. It's like that's like trading Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen or whatever. Like, there's not enough compensation. You can't come up with enough. You'd have to send, I don't know.
You have to send Max and 4 ones and
it's just there's not enough. You'd have to send Brock and Max and all the picks and and then it wouldn't be worth it. Like you deplete, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, but appreciate the call.
Gonna be
appreciate
throwing to DJ Turner, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. And look what Joe Burrow's able to do in that offense with freaking T. Higgins and Jamar Chase for crying out loud.
Right.
Yeah. Now hand them freaking DJ Turner and I don't know
Trey Tucker or something like that.
I don't know. And who was that one off? Who's the freaking tight end we got? Number 84. He's a free agent.
Oh, Harrison Bryant.
Yeah, there you go. Harrison Bryant. Have fun in the red zone with that.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, no. All right, but appreciate you, Raider Nation, so very, very much, and appreciate the calls. Appreciate Steve. Appreciate everybody that's in here. So here at the end of the show, we always award a Sizzler Award to the best emailer or phone caller of the night, and that honor goes to Swag Jeff. Swag Jeff, who do we have tonight?
Oh my gosh, we had some amazing emailers, callers. Can't thank you enough. On the email side, we had Matthew Mangus and Paul with an incredible Billy Joel email. So much respect.
That was so good,
yeah,
Paul.
much respect to you, Paul. Let's see, on the voicemail sides, we kicked it off, of course, with Martin. Raider Kojo, Josh in the 703, Josh in the East Bay, Jacob in Fresno, Jay in St. Louis, and Steve in San Diego. But tonight there can only be one Sizzler, and it didn't even come in the Sea of Fans segment. Tonight's Sizzler Award goes to Martin.
Sizzler.
We are Metallica, and we are here for your Oakland Raiders!
You know why we out here, and we ain't playing around today.
From The Walking Dead to errant Jedi Knights, Raiders fans are a rogues gallery.
Ben Johnson.
How about the UK showing up tonight?
Dude.
Martin
Holy
with the
cow.
Sizzler, Paul crushed it on the emails. This one goes out to you guys.
Britannia rules the waves. This is Keith Smith, the Crusader Raider, calling you from London, England. And you're listening to Raider Fan Radio. And we're in Murf's Cave, and I tell you, this is the only place you need to be. Go Raiders!
I appreciate all of those of you over in the UK that support us. We've got David Love in Scotland. We got Haley. We got so many of the UK folks to support this
Heck
show.
yeah.
Colin, Mac Bud, over there. There's so many of our good UK folks. We appreciate
Paul
you.
says, Paul's in the chat says, congratulations, Martin. You're on fire at the moment, fella. That's your 6th Sizzler Award. Wow.
Nice.
Yep.
Real recognize real, as the kids say.
That's right.
Yeah.
They do say that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. But anyways, appreciate you, Raider Nation, so very, very much for joining us for this episode number 362.
Ron says the exclusive 6thler.
That's awesome, man. Appreciate all of those of you so very, very much for joining this episode of Raiders Fan Radio. We'll be back again next Wednesday, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
What do you mean?
Do
maybe?
we need to take a break?
Not
What
yet.
are we doing?
The season ain't over. What's somebody get hired next week, man?
Oh, yeah.
If someone gets hired, we'll do a show.
No bullshit. I'm doing a show. You gonna be here, Michelle?
What are we going to talk about? if the Chiefs get put out,
See, you
then
never know.
I'll come talk about
We got
that.
our top. We got a see. We got our freaking personal top 10 list to get into.
Oh, we did have that.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we're going to be here to do a show
Okay.
next week. As soon as the season's over, we'll take a break.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Do it for the One Nation Foundation. Things are bigger than you, Jeff.
I don't know. I put on a little weight.
Darn right you did. Appreciate Raider Nation.
Darn right you did.
What, you asshole? Why would you say that?
Darn right you did.
I mean, I hadn't noticed.
Jackass.
All right, Raider Nation. See you next week. Love you guys. Bye.
Oh my gosh, Michelle, shout out the chat if you don't mind.
Okay. All right. James Verpo's in there. SoCal Sal, Ron, Martin, Jordan Ford, Anthony Provencio. Let me scroll up a little bit. Space Beast. Jesus is in the chat. Let's go, Jesus.
What's up, Jesus? Hey.
Roy's in there.
You need some Jesus right now.
I'm in there. Kevin Lurker.
Shut up, fatso.
Oh, no.
Fat.
Or says he's fat.
Well, yeah.
Not shut up, fatso.
I mean, he's called me worse. I promise you that. Oh my gosh. Can't thank you guys enough for being here. The amazing folks in the chat room. The best chat room in all of Raider Nation. We love you so much. Can't thank you enough. All the emailers, all the phone calls. We love you guys. So, hey, 2025 is our year, bro. We got it.
Come on.
We got it. Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Raiders Fan Radio, where we take a lighter side journey into the dark side. On behalf of Michelle, on behalf of Murph, my name is Swag Jeff. We love you. Can't thank you enough, and we'll see you next week. Because Murph said so.
Get out, YouTube.